if you want to just trim it.
She's got a mean rash. I think we have those mites in the grass that have been a problem all year. She's got a mean rash.
Sorry. I didn't realize my volume was still on because I was deafened.
There it is.
Who needs a drink?
I just finished my beer.
I will need one soon.
I'm having.
Yes, please.
How do I get back to moderator chat now?
Oh,
Hey.
Okay.
here. Or are they twist offs?
No. I forgot coffee.
Looking good.
Someone do that
Oh.
first.
I can't show what I want to show on Twitch.
What's that?
You what?
Yeah,
yeah.
probably not.
Yeah, probably not.
You can show rain right now, though.
Yep.
Well, we
We're
are
all
Well, we're
live.
technically live, so.
Oh.
Yeah, we are live.
but no one's here yet. Oh, just kidding. 3 people are here. Oh, well, I'm
Everybody.
one of
It's-
them.
Oh, I'm probably one of
It's
them too.
us.
Yeah,
it's just
it's
us.
It's just yeah, moderating.
Yeah, if someone wants to post, that would actually be.
Yeah, I can.
Somebody should put a tweet out.
Yeah.
Tweet.
Please.
I'm on it.
Thank you.
I realized you were saying someone, and that could
I kinda
only
meant
be
you.
the 2 of us. No link, but a hashtag or 2.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I almost tweeted from
I'm
my.
actually being told that like you really shouldn't link things on Twitter at all, because Twitter really doesn't like links.
Yeah.
It has a tendency to just like kind of mute them.
So,
Algorithms are frustrating.
Yeah,
social
it's
media
really- it's really dumb
algorithms
to
are
work
so
on.
Can I have a
frustrating.
little bit of cream?
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Oh my god, I'm using your mug.
Yep, it's the only clean mug. And I've decided that I'll be okay without coffee.
Brave decision.
What did you say? A brave decision?
Yeah.
Yeah. I usually have a pretty easy time when I'm DMing maintaining energy. It's when I'm a player that I have a hard time keeping my energy up. I say that, and I'll be fucking falling asleep at the keyboard.
Ended early. Oh no.
TTRPG family and.
That's it. Just
Okay.
one tag's good.
Okay.
I feel like our reach is good enough at this point to where the tags aren't as all
Necessary.
important as they were. It's more about just making sure we're posting frequently.
Okay. We tweeted.
Hell yeah.
tweet.
You twat?
Tweet, tweet,
We
tweet.
twat.
Can you grab a Strongbow out for yourself and I'll order one of these bad boys?
Oh.
Retweet.
Should be in the center. Oh, same note. Yeah, they're Strongbows, so they look like Cerveza. Sure.
They were right next to the cerveza.
Yeah, they.
Man.
Playing the fire there feels like someone's gonna be really disappointed when they go to drink their Corona.
Yeah.
That was a pretty high percentage for Saga though, so I think it's like 5.5,
Strongbow is
which is I think the same as a Corona. Yeah.
How do I? Yes, I know. But...
Russell, Patrick,
Thank you.
You want your mug?
If you want to switch.
I was asking for you.
I can wait until the break for that.
Yeah.
I have water and coffee.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
I can make you one right now.
Playing musical.
I don't want to be drinking coffee, cider, and water all at the same time.
Honestly, I feel like you're If we do have any
a lot
audience
of
members,
flavors.
your official name is Brandon Nathaniel Johnstone.
That is not my name.
That is your official legal
That's
name.
worse than being dead named at this
That
point.
is your legal name. Brandon Nathaniel Johnstone. Oh, I just broke the law. I'm so sorry. Cheers.
How dare you?
You.
I'm thirsty.
Is it
Wait.
get out the way?
Wait.
We gotta get Dylan and Brent and
There we
Rain.
go. And rain.
Yeah.
All right.
That's the good stuff right there.
Like last time, we'll give everyone a few minutes.
Yeah.
It's a holiday weekend too, so frankly, I'm not expecting quite the turnout that we usually get.
Mhm.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, it is a holiday weekend. People with their families doing other things. That's
And I'm
fine.
looking forward to not having to go to work tomorrow.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, lucky you.
The VOD will be up, so whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm actually pretty happy. I go into work tomorrow, but I'm only working 4 hours.
Well,
And on top of the 4 hours I'm working, by default, I get paid 8 hours for holiday pay.
Nice.
Oh shit.
hey,
I thought
alright.
it was just they doubled me to
just
8
gave you a
hours,
day.
but you flat out just get 8 hours.
Even
That's how
less.
they do holiday
Good.
pays.
Are you doing morning shift or is it
It's 11 to 4, so it's like a weird midday shift,
Yeah.
but whatever. You know.
Tomorrow's a new moon.
Hell
Oh
yeah.
boy.
Hell yeah.
Big plans.
Some of
I
that
like
witchy
Eclipse better.
shit.
Burn the witch.
Don't burn my witch. I
Listen,
like this witch, thank you very much.
this witch made a protection jar for your home, so
There is a protection jar for our home sitting in my
That's
room.
so
I
cool.
mean-
What do you want? He's a
oh my
baby.
god, I see
Be
some names I
careful.
recognize.
He's a baby.
Really? 'Cause
Yeah,
mine is
TPK
not
podcast
updating.
is up in here.
Oh.
Why
Hell
doesn't
yeah.
my
Welcome.
thing update?
I'm not, like I said, I'm not expecting a huge turnout today. It is a
Oh,
holiday
there they are.
weekend.
We're still gonna have some fun.
But we're going to have some fun regardless, exactly,
Oh, yeah.
Patrick. We'll get started here pretty soon, guys. We like to kind of just warm our way into this with some drinks and some chats. Kind of get in the mood.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
And for any of those who are unfamiliar with our past 2 streams, we will also be doing a little bit of announcements. I have a gnat. And then we'll be doing a little bit of a shout-out real quick, which is something I want to start implementing into my streams from now on. Hey! Up in chat.
Hey.
Who's here?
This gnat is going to go right into my drink. It's like flying directly in front of me this whole time. It's going to drive me nuts. I'm going to get
Just
it.
protein.
Oh, Isabel's in. Isabel
Isabel's
made
on
it in.
Oh my god.
The familiar made it on stream.
That is the familiar Bards and Brews, everyone. That's Isabel.
She's made it on every single time.
She has made it on every stream so far.
I gotta make her a player profile.
She is 10 years young. She's a beautiful golden retriever, and she is my daughter. Love her
And
very
we would
much.
all die for her.
We would absolutely all die
Yeah,
for her.
absolutely.
No questions
She's
asked.
my niece.
Love that dog with my entire heart and soul.
basically like my adopted child at this point.
Pretty much.
Pretty much, yeah.
Pretty much. She certainly loves you as if you're familial.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you know, she gets
Oh, such a good
She
girl.
gets it. She does get it. She do be getting it.
it. She.
Oh my god. I'm so sorry for your testicles. she firmly climbed up your crotch there. Give it a couple more minutes and then we'll get started here. Probably start at about 5:05, 5:10, something like that.
I'm posting the Discord too.
Yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, we should probably start posting in like our group chats, like our D&D group chats. We have like 3 D&D group
Oh,
chats, and I
posted
don't think,
mine.
as I say, I don't think I've ever once remembered to post before we
Yeah.
we start streaming.
I haven't.
I posted in the game I run and in our Slack.
Hell yeah.
The friends that I went to see in Colombia
Which
are
there's a
doing
lot
some
of
D&D
overlap
stuff
there.
too, and I told them about it, so I'll see if they want to join.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Yeah, I'd love to get that audience out there because one of the announcements I'm going to make, and I'll go ahead and say it now, but I'll repeat myself, is that I will pretty soon be running Neon Nights, and I want to, if possible, I want to get a couple of you playing. Might be tough because it's going to be a weekday game. I really want to pull some new players. I already have a couple of people in my DMs right now who I'm interested in talking to and getting them to jump in. And then I might do some sort of, I don't know, shout out or something on the Twitter and see if I can't get a couple of people together. Buzz me out because, like, for something like that, I really want to be able to say paid gig. Can't do that.
Yeah.
Literally can barely pay rent as is. Right now, I'm just playing games for fun. There's no monetary gain involved in this. But I want to start encouraging. I want to start encouraging like friends to be like, I'm a part of this. I can be a part of this. I can play. I can have a fun time. You know, I'm not just someone that I tweet to on a regular basis. I don't know. So that might be a thing that we do with like Neon Knights, maybe Blades in the Dark. I really want to run Blades in the Dark, but I'm hearing a lot of people say that it's so lore dense, and like the lore is kind of built into the mechanics.
Listen to the One Shot podcast. 'Cause
Yeah.
It's the same guy who did the RPG world building books.
Right.
And
So which are phenomenal.
the
by
way
way.
that he kind of builds it with the players is really fucking interesting.
Yeah,
So.
yeah. Percy jumped in and said the same thing. Like
Yeah.
I'm hearing it's very lore dense, and that the lore is like intrinsic to a lot of the mechanics. So you kind of can't skip. You can get away with a little bit of glossing over, but you do kind of need to know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that's wonderful. Show everyone that.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's a good post.
Yay.
We'll do it later.
I'm getting messaged now.
Uh,
Weird. Twitch just told me I was live.
oh,
Thanks,
good
Twitch.
to know.
Good looking out.
Appreciate
Let's see who we've got in here at the moment. Cool, a couple more people. Nice.
Welcome.
Yeah, I know it's a holiday weekend, so whoever turns out, we greatly enjoy you spending some time with us
Absolutely. Appreciate
while we
it
get
very
drunk
much
and
so.
play D&D.
Yep. It's a life, I think.
It is kind of the life, not gonna lie. It does feel pretty good getting drunk and playing D&D with regularity with my friends.
Yep.
Good way to be.
Oh, yeah.
I'll go ahead and do a couple of announcements and then wait a minute and do some of the shout-outs I want to do. First announcement is a little unfortunate. I goofed up. I messed up in my job as Dungeon Master and kind of screwed up the scheduling a little bit. I announced on Twitter that Starfinder would be beginning next week. That is not the case. For right now, we will still only be streaming Saga. Moving into October, we will begin with both Starfinder and Neon Knights. So we'll be starting that in the second and third Sundays of every month, beginning in October, respectively.
Sorry. Neon Knights on a Sunday.
Oh, nope. I misspoke. Good catch. I meant to say Dragon Age. Sorry. So we'll be doing Starfinder. Yeah, turn it off, yeah. We'll be doing Starfinder, and we'll be doing Dragon Age to fill our gap Sundays as they are. Sorry for the announcement. I know I've said, like, literally all week, but I wasn't really thinking about the player schedules that we had already discussed, so I kind of jumped the gun on that one. It's bouncing around because I talk a lot. Isabel,
Yeah.
excuse me.
Well, your laptop just bounces, so I use my phone to prop it.
I appreciate it. Sorry about that. My dog decides whenever I'm on stream that it's a good time to sneak into the kitchen and try and eat stuff.
Mm-hmm.
She
And
thinks
now
she's
she's
slick.
playing the drums.
She is playing the drums. But yeah, so unfortunately, jumped the gun a little bit on that announcement, but it will be coming soon. Stick with us for a little bit longer. Saga's a lot of fun. We're having a good time with it. So hopefully you guys are enjoying that just as much. Another announcement is just a reminder that we are doing that 1K by Halloween giveaway. I would really, really love to hit that milestone, mostly because it would just kind of feel incredible to know that I had successfully managed to finagle 100 followers a week on average. We've already basically done that. You guys have been incredible. That is miles beyond the level of support I expected. I frankly thought I'd be sitting here with 40 followers tops at this point in time. So, already blown my expectations out of the water. But we are doing that giveaway. We'll be giving away a set of dice, custom made by our very own Rain. Rain has a beautiful dice shop. She is currently working on a lineup of new releases, but much like us, we all have day jobs. We all have very busy schedules, so bear with us. But the giveaway is hopefully coming up. If we hit that milestone before Halloween, we will be doing the winner announcement at the Halloween game. Halloween does happen to fall on a Sunday this year, so we will be doing a fancy Halloween stream, possibly in costume, maybe, perhaps. But really looking forward to that. So if you haven't already, feel free to get entered into that. To enter, all you need to do is retweet the post, follow both our account and Coffee Dragon Dice, and if you could, tag a friend. That'll get you entered in to win. Hope to hit that milestone with you guys. That'd be pretty nuts,
Absolutely.
honestly, to hit
For
1K
sure.
by by Halloween.
Yeah.
It'd be insane.
Yeah.
Even if we don't hit it, probably still going to work a giveaway out once it does come to pass. So, kind of a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation. That's all I have as far as announcements. Anyone got any announcements about their life? How are things going, guys? Anything interesting happening?
Start school this week.
Brand does start school this week, which is pretty fucking cool. Brand is literally studying to be an herbalist. That's the cool, like, how fitting is that? Sitting at a D&D table, also learning how to work with herbs. Like, that's fucking cool.
Beautiful.
And that's on top of a full-time job. And that's on top of multiple D&D games.
Yeah.
It's fucking awesome, man. It's hard to balance that
It is.
that work-life play.
It really is.
But
I guess when you make something that you're committed to fun, though, like, then at least you're still finding time for fun.
it definitely helps.
Like,
How about you guys? Anything fun going on? No? That's
Nope.
fair.
I'm working
I know how that goes.
all month. It's just work.
yeah.
Same.
Work.
But I'm
I know
trying to
how
get
it goes.
promoted. And
Hell
it's going
yeah.
well.
Hey, alright.
Hell yeah, man.
Definitely.
That's where that's at. Get that
Yes.
fucking bread.
Get it.
I have a calendar event on my work calendar every payday that says "Get that bread."
Excellent.
Yeah.
What about you, Rain? What's going on?
Trying not to work 12-hour days.
Yeah, hell yeah. Me too, dude. Good on you.
Yep.
That's the
Yeah.
way to go.
Yeah, when it goes well.
Fair. I understand. It's definitely getting a little soul draining working that 9 to 5 plus.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I know how that is, but good luck on that, man. Like,
Yeah.
we all fucking deserve it. Let's be real. None of us should have to work to live. We should get the option to live to work, at the very least.
Damn straight.
But no, you're all full of cool shit. I actually, I guess I have an announcement too. Is probably come October, certainly not before then, but probably come October, I will be launching a Patreon and a coffee. The current plan is to release bundles of content per month. Usually it will be centered around a theme. At the moment, the plan for the bundle will be a legendary NPC, legendary location to go with said NPC, and a legendary item to go with said NPC. These will all be things that are not system unique, so the mechanics will be pretty easy to slot into whatever system you may be using. They will not always be fantasy themed, they will not always be sci-fi themed, they'll kind of alternate based on that week's theme. I think what I'll do tier-wise is probably base tier will get you base items, or, characters, whatever it may be. And then there'll be a secondary tier, which will also get you adventures associated with all three of those things. So an encounter
Like
that...
using them.
Exactly. So an encounter that brings you face-to-face with that NPC,
Cool.
a small dungeon that brings you face-to-face with that item, and then maybe an adventure that centers around that location. So those will be things that I'll be offering on a monthly subscription basis on Patreon. Patreon would also come with the benefit of voting for next month's theme, things of that nature, a lot of interaction going on, as opposed to just purchasing a pass to content. The coffee will be where you can buy the content separately. At the moment, that's all I have planned. Eventually, fingers crossed, start working on some smaller systems as well, and those will probably go straight to coffee and be available on a per purchase basis.
Very nice. Very nice.
So that's my plan, because like Rain, really tired of those 12-hour workdays.
Fair. Nothing big on my part, but I have finally decided to start going back to the gym.
Hell yeah, man.
Hell
Yeah, that
yeah.
is big though. Like too often we trivialize the work that goes into trying to be healthy and trying to be better. Like that is big though. That's a big thing.
Well, thank
it's a
you.
big decision to make, and it's an important decision to make. Hell yeah, to taking care of yourself, man.
I felt good the first 2 sessions so far, so.
Man, good on you. I never feel good after the gym. I always feel exhausted.
My
feel
muscles
good.
have been screaming at me. the
Yeah, exactly,
yeah.
exactly.
I feel good 2 days later when I'm sore. 'cause
Yes,
then I'm
yeah,
like,
yeah,
oh,
yeah.
yeah, I did it. I did
Yeah,
it
that like
thing.
faint soreness feels good. It's
Yeah.
like right after. I'm just like, fucking kill me. Just
Yeah.
kill me.
My
I don't wanna do
my
this anymore.
arms
Oh,
for
but
like
the
an
pump was
entire
worth
week
it.
were just dead.
What's that?
The pump right after a workout.
Oh god, yeah, the pump is. You gotta take a picture right after right when the pump hits, and you're just like, oh yeah, look, right over there, right over. What's over there, guy?
I'm thinking about Transformers, Shia LaBeouf. I have the disco ball and
right
the
over
light.
there.
I really
Look at these gains.
I really hope that Percy, your favorite local gym rat, is enjoying this.
Oh my god, is Percy our favorite local gym rat?
Yeah. Have you
Percy,
not
Percy,
seen?
Percy.
Percy.
I don't know if you can send pictures in Twitch chat, but if you can, we need a picture to the gun show.
Yes.
I'm a competitive powerlifter.
You
Holy
gotta-
shit!
Yeah.
Wow! How did I not know that?
How did you not
So
know that? Percy
Percy could just like come in here and just Shrek on us, man.
Yeah.
Jesus.
He could
You
bench
should-
press us.
You should follow at Muscle Wizard on Instagram.
Muscle Wizard, that's phenomenal. Oh my god,
a
Percy,
good one.
I have to buy you a shirt if you don't already have it. There's a shirt, Wizard Cast Fist. Or no, it's literally Muscle Wizard Cast Fist.
Oh wow.
I gotta fucking buy you that. Oh my
amazing.
god. Right? Isn't that perfect? He immediately responds, oh my god. And I think it's even a gym shirt too, where it's got like the low cut underarms.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man.
It's an amazing shirt. I gotta get that. That's phenomenal.
Fantastic.
We stand. Yes, we do stand. We stand a gym rat. I gotta get back to the gym. Jesus.
Me too.
But anyway, let's see where we're at chat wise. Damn, man, we got some people in here.
Welcome,
Fucking
people.
Nuts. What are you guys doing? Fucking nuts. Thanks for showing up, everybody. We just got through some light announcements. The big one that I will repeat, just because there's some new people in here, is that Starfinder is being postponed. I know I announced that was going to start next week. That was my mistake. I forgot about some scheduling conflicts that we had already discussed. So that'll... For right now, we will still be running only Saga. And then come October is when the schedule will start to fill out with both Starfinder and Dragon Age. Sorry for the miscommunication there. That was my enthusiasm. Over jumping the gun there a little bit. But anyway, I wanted to start this stream a little bit differently than we started some others. Lately, I have been incredibly fortunate to be receiving some just absolutely bonkers support on Twitter in particular. I've made some genuine friendships on there. Rain can attest that because of Rain especially, I do believe that online friends are real friends. Rain and I actually met on Twitter, and now I legitimately consider you one of my best friends, Rain. So, that
You're
being
fine.
said, hell yeah. Hell yeah, I am. I'll fucking fight for it. I'll fight.
You'll do it.
I'm not very strong, but, like, I'll fight dirty. I'll do it.
Oh my goodness.
I got pocket sand, guys.
Oh god.
But, has anyone ever thought of the logistics of getting pocket sand out of, like, jeans?
No.
Never gonna happen. Anyway. So, I've been receiving a lot of support on the Twitterscape lately. A couple people at the moment really step into the forefront. One of them, I'm wearing his shirts right now. These belong to Matt. His Twitter handle is Dungeon Glitch. Matt is an awesome individual. I love the bejesus out of this guy. I've been following him on my personal for quite a while, and he and I have had several just all-around positive interactions, and now back onto the business side with Bards and Brews, we've had just a lot of really wonderful, pleasant interactions. The guy is just a beacon of positivity. I mean, hell, the guy's so awesome. Like, he's even left Twitch, which was a big deal for him. He's even left Twitch in support of the attacks that various marginalized peoples have been dealing with on Twitch lately. Which, by the way, fucking
Yeah. It's wild.
just
Yeah.
disgusting.
Yeah.
Beyond disgusting.
Yeah.
But Matt is a great person. He's phenomenal. His shirts are beautifully priced, and I gotta say, I'm not being paid or anything for this. It's not like an ad, but this is legitimately one of the softest shirts I think I've ever purchased. And I've spent stupid amounts of money on shirts before, and this is just as soft as those stupid amounts of money shirts, and it was completely affordable. I
And
bought 3 my first
He's got
go.
like non-D&D stuff
Yeah,
too. That's
he's got
also
exactly.
supportive and
He's
progressive
not just
stuff.
D&D.
Which
He's
is
got
great.
like progressive stuff. He's got plenty of witty designs available on his shop. You should absolutely check him out. At the very least, pop into his Twitter, give it a look. I guarantee you'll like what you see. Another one that's really big for me is my good friend Ethan. Ethan is also very quickly becoming someone that I firmly believe will end up being best friend status. Ethan is a phenomenal person. He has just been vocally supportive of everything that we have done. He's attended every stream for as long as he can manage. He's always chatted. He's always engaged. He's always boosted us. He's a great guy. And he also releases some really fucking awesome systems.
They.
Neon Knights.
They.
He, they.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Thank you, though.
You're welcome.
But they've released some awesome fucking systems. Neon Knights is exactly what I want out of Cyberpunk. I've been fiddling around with Cyberpunk Red for a while now, wanting to run it, wanting to get into it, and something has just nagged at the back of my head where it just didn't quite click, and then I read through Neon Knights, and on first skim, like just briefly skimming the rules, I was like, yep, this is what I wanted from a Cyberpunk game. So we will be running Neon Knights. Ethan has a lot of other systems currently in the works. Some are on the smaller side, but Neon Knights is huge. It's currently being updated regularly. There's more and more content being planned for it. It's 100% worth it. So you should absolutely check out Ethan's Twitter as well. And the final person I want to shout out today is another person who's just been vocally supportive, always boosting, always offering advice, and that's Lewis. Lewis is... God, I never remember Lewis's handle. It's like Coinflip?
Coinflip, yeah.
Yeah, it's Coinflip, I believe. Lewis the Legend, we'll say. I forgot that that's canon now. It's Lewis the Legend. Lewis the Legend is just one of those people who is just always full of positivity. I mean, I think the guy has literally responded to almost every single post I've ever made. Just boosting it, trying to get some sort of engagement in there, trying to somehow be a part of it and help it grow. Lewis is a phenomenal voice in the community. He's one of the good ones. I mean, we all know in our circles that there are a couple of names out there that are pretty frequently on your must-follow list. Mm-hmm. I think Lewis deserves to be on your must-follow list. He's also putting out phenomenal brews. He's got a bunch of new revitalized subclasses out right now that, like, every single one he was posting was exactly what I wanted in that moment from a subclass. It was like something I had just found myself thinking, like, man, you know, it'd be really cool to play in D&D, and then bam, Lewis has it. I swear, for a moment, I thought he was just in my head and just responding. So Lewis has a lot of really great content out. Lewis is also posting a lot of this content on Coffee. Really recommend the support. I know, speaking from my own experience, I think Coffee is going to be a good way. Coffee and Patreon are kind of like the good way to start turning TTRPGs into a career. And I think Lewis is one of those people whose career is about to be booming, and I think he absolutely deserves it. So if you guys have some time, go ahead and check all three of those wonderful individuals out. I would like to start making this a regular thing. You guys have shown me and my friends so much support, and you've boosted us, and you've signal boosted us, and you've engaged with us, and you've shared in our triumph, and I think it's only right that we return that favor. So I would like to start turning this into a weekly thing where we shout out some of our friends. If you didn't get shout out today, don't worry. I bet you're on my list. But with that, I think I've spoken as an advert man more than enough. Let's get into it, shall we? When last I left you guys, you were standing on a promontory overlooking the hamlet of Holbrick. On this cliff, you have a wonderful view. You see the town scattered before you. Small, well-put-together huts. Some perhaps a little finer than others. Amber waves of grain. Listen, we're all allowed to use some stereotypical descriptions.
It's okay.
Fields of wildflowers that slowly transfer into a dark forest, crawling up steep, majestic mountains. You guys just heard a repeat tale. One that's stuck in your head a few times now. The one about the wolf and the sun. Eagle seems to be on his way back to the village. The Jarl seems to be enjoying the view, taking some time while his wife and son return home. What are you up to?
Well, I believe people want to talk to us. I believe Yoke was demanding our attention pretty desperately.
Yeah, definitely got your ear a couple of times.
Yeah.
I would like to follow after Eagle.
Mm-hmm. You just want to go ahead and just...
Yeah, like, kind of immediately.
Sure, so Ilva's going to branch off, and we'll get right back to that. If you guys want to tell me, do you have any intent at the moment?
That's what I was just saying, but Alistair would like to follow Eagle as well from what he just saw in the fire.
Okay.
Cub would like to know if Bart the blacksmith is around.
At the fire pit?
Yeah, or if they're leaving, I'd like to catch up with them.
Bard's a pretty big guy. You did not see him present.
Okay.
He kind of stands out. He visually is inspired a lot by Teacher's husband.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I never remember his fucking name. Great guy though.
Yeah.
We love muscly, chubby men. All right, it's a good thing. Bears are always a good thing.
Yes.
Yes. I'm thinking about that one character from Full Metal Alchemist.
That's who I was saying.
That's the one.
That's exactly what he looks like. He's literally them.
Yep.
Not Armstrong.
We need Armstrong.
No, not Armstrong. The guy who Armstrong does the Schwarzenegger high five with. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
In that case, I'll ask around, seeing if anybody knows where I can find him.
Okay. It's pretty easy. From this height especially, it's so easy for someone to just point. And looking down into the town, now having like a visual reference, you do see very clearly there's a building that looks a lot less hut-like than the other buildings. It appears to be made mostly of mason work, which definitely stands out in this town, and there is a glowing forge visible outside of it.
Cool, thank you.
It's almost center of town, but set back a little ways, so it's pretty... It makes sense that you didn't notice it the first time through.
Gotcha.
I would like to make my way into the town and try to find the home of the father of Ethelforth.
Okay. Might be tough to manage with guesswork, but if you'd like, there are a few villagers still lingering around, so you might be able to inquire.
I wasn't sure if I would recognize it from when I saw him take his body home or not. But yeah.
Okay, so we'll do that as well. What are you up to, Kavis?
I'd like to talk with the Jarl.
Talk with the Jarl?
And Saya, if possible.
Okay. Saya is currently heading home, but you could probably catch them before they walk away. You just have to be a little vocal about it.
I'll just follow them home, actually.
Okay.
Yep.
Easy enough. Then let's do this in this order. We'll start with Ashurka. Asking around, pretty easy. Ethelforth's father is a man named Dak. Dak seems to be fairly well known in the town as one of the chief guardsmen. Kind of seems like it runs in his family. He's just referred often by the villagers as Dak the Guard. So, but they point you out to his home, which is also a little ways off the center of town. It's towards the western side, kind of close to the storehouse, actually. Not too far from where you were, probably about 200 yards.
Okay.
So it was within sight of the store building.
Okay. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead. I was just going to elucidate.
I guess I just want to walk up and see if it seems like he's in, or if anybody is there.
Knocking on the door, you do hear some movement inside, and after a little bit of time, you hear a man's voice. Kind of sounds like maybe he's clearing his throat or preparing himself for speech, and he just kind of says, who is it?
This is Ashurka. I recovered Ethelforth from the field. I just wondered if you're okay.
He opens the door. Immediately you're hit with the smell of alcohol. And kind of see before you is a pretty average looking man. Kind of has darker skin than his son, but he does have the same blonde hair, same piercing blue eyes. A little bit scarred up. His tunic looks like maybe it hasn't been changed in a couple of days. A little sweaty, a little grimy, and he's kind of leaning on the door frame for support. Glancing behind him, the room's pretty disheveled. Looks like there's like maybe a chair knocked over, a couple of glasses on the floor. Or I should say cups. A couple of cups on the floor.
Have you been drinking?
I haven't not been drinking.
You are dishonoring the memory of your son.
Ooh. Hang on. You hear wood strain as his grip on the door frame tightens, and you actually can see his thumb dig into the wood a little bit. And he just kind of clears his throat. How I handle my grief is my business.
You are allowed your grief, I just thought, as Dak the guard. I don't know, you would care more. I came here to see how you were doing. I didn't expect to see. I guess I expected a man.
Holy shit! God damn!
Tell him how you really feel.
Same roll. At this point, you hear a weird creaking noise, and you see splinters start to pop up around his thumb as the wood starts to crush under his grip, and a little bit of blood starts to well up under his thumbnail as he is, like, squeezing into this door frame. And he looks dead into your eyes, and for a second, you see his shoulder tense, and your training prepares you to deflect a blow. Like, you feel it coming, and then the stress relieves from his hand. And he lets it drop to his side, and his head hangs for a second. Perhaps I could get cleaned up.
You are allowed your grief, you're allowed your anger. But your son was a guard because he wanted to be like you. He wouldn't want to be like this. You should honor him. And I'm gonna just kind of turn and start to leave.
As you walk away, you hear the distinct sound of furniture being rearranged. And the door closes. Damn. He rolled the same thing twice, but had he rolled just a little lower, probably would have been a quick fight. It was like, let me show you why they call me Dak the Guard. Tense moment for Shurka.
For sure.
Let's go from a tense moment. I'm going to leave you two hanging a little bit, because I think that's going to be a long conversation.
Probably.
Kevis. Doesn't take you long to catch up. Ace is kind of meandering a little bit. He's kind of doing what kids do when playtime's over, and kind of dragging his feet, you know. Everything's suddenly of amazing import to him. It's like, look at this flower. We can't possibly leave this flower here, you know. That type of finagling. So it doesn't take you very long to catch up, and you catch them quite a ways before they manage to hit home. Ice quickly looks at you and kind of does that thing where he looks at you, looks away, and then looks again real quick, and kind of looks at your face and says, "You look kind of scary."
I'll give a smile and kind of like bend down and like look at him. That's because I am.
He does this thing where he like, "I'm not afraid of you." He like tightens up, and as he's doing that, he's leaning away, like leaning back a little bit, but he's like squared shoulders, ready to go. He's gripping his like little wooden sword real tight.
You should steal it.
I'm gonna.
For anyone who didn't hear that, because my mic is not that good, Russell just muttered under his breath, "You should steal the sword."
But we're really underestimating this kid. I'm pretty sure he's the most powerful NPC in this
He's
game.
actually an anime protagonist, so he could 1v1 all of you.
Yeah, touche.
His armor is plot.
His armor is plot, so be careful.
I'll,
Listen, I can't kill a kid again, alright?
just pat him on the head and smile, and then
As soon as you touch his head, his eyes, the pupils disappear. everyone around you vanishes. Before you stands a man. Tall, proud, heavily scarred. Seen some combat. Missing a good cleft of his jaw. A few fingers on his right hand. He has 2 blades. Beautiful engraved objects at either side of his hip. He's wearing the wolf pelt that the Jarl wears. Dirty, cut into. He looks to you, and with the full-bodied voice of a man. This time will come. Will you be with me? And as soon as the sentence ends, you're holding the head of a smiling child.
You have guts.
Puffs up his chest a little bit.
It'll get you far. I'm going to stand up and kind of look around. Are there a lot of people around, or...
There's a few. It's kind of like the milling crowd that's all headed back home. It is dispersing, and you're more towards the northern side of town where the Jarl's palace, the longhouse is, where some of the nicer homes are with a little bit more distance between them and the other domiciles. So it's definitely thinning out. And the people here are a little more eager to get home, shall we say. A little more of the affluent nature. This is maybe like a quaint night out for them.
Okay. Directed at Saya, if she's there.
Yes.
I'd like to speak with you in private. And your husband as well.
I'm sure you have questions. I did. When first I met one of my own. We can talk. And, her eyes kind of go blank for a second. He'll be here shortly. And she gestures towards the longhouse.
I'm just gonna kind of touch my ears through my hood, and then tighten my hood up and walk over towards the house for now.
She'll join you as well. Ice again, kind of dragging his heels, kind of finding some stuff to fuck around with. Eagle Crew. Go on to you guys for right now. You are headed to Bard's home, correct?
Yes, I am.
Okay, we'll get back to you. So we'll do this in order. We'll say Ilva gets to Eagle first. Eagle's home is far and away the most interesting structure in this town. It's a little offset from the rest of the town and is on a small cliff, probably a 30-foot drop, that overlooks the sea. It's actually so close to the beach that the base of the cliff gradually shifts into that black sand. So it goes from this like red umber color into this deep, deep black. Almost looks like the land is bleeding into the sea. The house itself is a small, round assortment of what at best glance looks to be pieces of various ships' hulls. And it looks like they've kind of been mashed together and boarded over in such a way as to force the shape of a structure. Each of these hulls beautifully painted with like depictions of sea serpents and harpies and men fighting off like great creatures and dragons that are erupting from the ocean. But it's all a hodgepodge of these images that are all just congealing into this massive history and this old, almost overwhelming smell of just sweat and blood and decay comes to you, but not in the rotting sense, but in that similar to stepping into a library or a trophy room or maybe like an herbalist hut, something with age and sustenance behind it and history behind it. The thatch roof is topped with a golden banner, almost impossibly long. It's thin, and it seems to drag on for at least 30 feet, but still waves confidently in the wind. On the banner are small runic etchings of what look like soldiers marching on towards a large, evil maw encompassing the sky.
Sorry, 1 second.
You're fine. The door might be the most interesting thing you've seen so far. It's round and green with a knob made of brass set straight in the center.
Of course it is.
And carved all around it, you. Kethis.
Oh, okay.
Cub. Ashirka and Strawberry. Alistair. The Jarl. Yacht. Faces you recognize. All gathered around a moon falling into what looks like the sea. As you approach the door, you immediately smell the very familiar to you scent of incense.
Mm-hmm. Oops. From here, looking over the cliff, can I see like the glints of the golden crabs?
You do. You see, the sun is at this point pretty much right on the horizon. It's casting this like pinkish red, almost bloody glow, and you see these little pinpoints of fire scuttling along the beach.
Great.
And interestingly enough, what's your passive perception?
9?
9? No, yeah, I'd say that's still enough from where you are. I'd say that's still enough. Interestingly enough, the closer crabs and some of the larger ones, the aura, the shine that they catch off of the sunlight, almost appears different colors. You see like hues of like greens and oranges and purples, all sorts of variety.
Okay. Eagle.
You hear the sound, a very distinct sound of a like glass or clay bottle being dropped hastily. I'll be right there. And you hear the wheelchair moving, and then the door swings open into a much larger space than the outside would dictate. There's a hallway going back into multiple different branches of the home. There's a view that is most definitely not a view of the beach. Looks to be overlooking some mountain in the sunrise, portrayed in one of the windows. Something interesting is afoot.
Mm-hmm.
He looks to you, winks, and you're staring at a small, dingy hut.
You've got tricks.
I have many, many tricks, my dear friend.
Glancing back toward the beach, these crabs. You told us to stop killing them.
I should suppose so.
I think it's a good idea, too. The bear you told us about.
Belbruda.
It sounds like she might be like these crabs.
Caught that, did you? You see, here in Nordheim, there are many of these soul creatures, these golden beasts. I've seen bears, rams, elk, wolves, crabs most commonly, sometimes fish, sometimes bigger things than fish, and once a dragon, golden shimmering in the sun.
Are you indulging again?
No.
Or this one's real?
No, this one, my friend, is real. I'm an old man, and I've seen many a wonder on this earth.
I just wanted to tell you that I liked the story. I liked both of the stories.
I told one of them for you.
I noticed.
You know, it's why I brought you here. I sensed a kindred spirit. I actually had a small gift for you. It may take you some time to understand.
Mm-hmm.
But I would like you to have this. And he reaches from some nebulous corner behind the door and pulls out a massive tome, scarred and battle-worn. Pages falling out at angles, tons of different ribboned bookmarks in it. And he hands you this, and he says, "This is the Book of Legends. We call it the Red Book, or the Book of Blood. I'd love you to read it. And once you've finished, tell me what you think. As he hands you the book, the tome easily weighs 10 pounds. It is a massive thing, and looking at it a little bit closer, it's pretty clear that at some point it was read.
Okay.
Similarly to the cliff upon which Eagle's house is sat, it almost looks like blood pooling and congealing at the corners. It's that crimson that bleeds into brown and black and these dark, crustier colors. Definitely a red book.
I just want you to know I'm writing down the 10 pounds for my encumbrance.
Heavy book.
I'm
Heavy,
very
heavy
strong.
book. Heavy book.
Thank you.
Of course.
It contains stories.
Many, many tales. And lessons, if you know how to read between the lines.
I think I do.
I think you do. Though it may take some time. It took me a few years.
Yeah.
At this, he looks over your shoulder and says, "We have company." Alistair steps up. Alistair, you see the same hut as described. At this point, the sun is now starting to sink below the waves, so the glint of the crabs isn't as auspicious, but you can still see these small, scuttling specks of light on the black beach.
So when you see Alistair walk in, he has a somewhat worried, or I want to say, anxious face on him.
Ilva does not notice.
And
wisdom.
Any fires going on in the hut that I see?
Yeah, there's one small torch right next to the door that seems to mostly just serve as a light source, but he does have a small fire pit smack dab in the middle of the hut.
So Alistair's now looking at the fire, just approaching Eagle. Then, so I do have a question to ask you. When you told the story of the wolf eating the sun and the man eating the sun,
It's a good one.
at the end, with the man and the tattooed face, did you have him stare at me? Was that a part of the story?
Did he see you?
We locked eyes.
I guess the old man is getting a little wary of my tricks. I'll keep that in mind. I doubt he saw much, but you very well may know your face now.
Should I be worried?
No more than you should have been when you set foot on this land in the first place.
It is of no matter.
For now, I agree.
I'm very good with makeup if you'd like to change the way you appear.
That sounds very fun, Ilva.
We'll just have to find some supplies in town.
Of course.
I'm a bit of
Can't
an
wait.
entertainer.
As am I.
We do different kinds of entertainment. I fight for money.
That perhaps we do not do as different entertainment as you think.
So, I also have one more curious thought. When you passed me that book so generously, you told me to be careful when I write in it and who I'm around. I came to this land to help spread my knowledge and spread my wisdom. Is that going to be a bigger problem than I may originally have thought?
I'd say you'll have some difficulty. The people may be willing, but tyranny is often begat by ignorance. One serves the other very well. You'll find that where a monster rules, so does ignorance and lack of learning.
I'm the antithesis of this.
Indeed you are. Welcome to the club, my friend. I have not been high on the one's list of friends of late.
I would consider anyone on that list a good friend of mine.
You'd be in fine company. Perhaps you can meet a few of my friends before time is up.
I think I would like for this to happen.
I've been rude. Come in. Come inside. My home is yours. And he gestures in and kind of moves back a little ways so you guys can enter the home. You do have to duck a little bit. The door is not entirely conducive to a full-bodied person entering. It's pretty clear he built this with him in mind.
You mean my 5'10" self?
Yeah, you might have to like just lower your head a little bit. The door's like 4 foot high, so
Is there anywhere for me to hang my hat?
there is nowhere for you to hang a hat, unfortunately.
So I'm just holding it.
As you enter, what you come into is pretty indicative of what you've seen in the town so far. The floor looks like it is mostly dirt that has a sort of thatch rug that's been laid over it, of like interwoven thatch and hay that is kind of left to just keep your feet clean.
Mm-hmm.
There's a small pit dug in the center of the hut that is a fire pit with a cooking spit above it and a small space to hang pots and pans from. There is currently a kettle going.
Good.
There's a small bed with this vibrant golden mustard yellow sheeting on it in the corner, with a curiously out of place, nearly solid gold footlocker set at the base of it. It is the one thing in this room that gleams more than any other. But none of that catches your eye quite as much as the 9 bookshelves ringing the entire hut, packed full of what appear to be handwritten tomes. Some of them wrapped in ancient leathers, some are scrolls, some of them are just loosely wrapped in vellum, some of them are just a collection of pages that have quickly been tied together with some thread. But they are packed.
Eagle, in all of these writings, do you have anything about soot?
He beams. You see this big smile. He says, I have not heard one of the old gods' names in so many years. I had forgotten the joy that it brings just to hear some variety. Soot. I have a few readings on Soot. Soot the Wolf Mother, I believe.
Yes.
Yes, I have a few readings on her. And he starts to shuffle around and kind of pick through his shelves. And as he's doing that, something catches your eye first. And Alistair, you see Ilva's glance, and it catches yours. A large kite shield with a finely polished and honed short sword behind it, and a finely polished and honed broadaxe crossed behind that. Interestingly enough, looks to be a little bit of blood on the axe.
He was fighting in the knoll.
You would be the only one who noticed that.
Oh, that's right. I was the only one who saw it.
No one else had confirmation of that. But it is clear that these weapons are not only cared for, but used. They are not sitting on a shelf collecting dust.
I would definitely notice this being a weapons master.
Yep. Both of you being the martial adepts that you are, you can tell when an item is pride of place versus a well-used, well-worn implement. This is the latter. It's not just a trophy that he has hung up on his wall. This is something he uses daily.
Mm-hmm. And the blood appears
pretty fresh. It's definitely dried. Like, it's not like dripping blood onto the floor, but it still has that reddish rust tint to it that implies that it's from the last few days.
Okay.
It is a little thicker and has almost that black clotted quality that you've come to attribute to the blood that the gnolls left all over your weapon.
Great. Yeah. Probably needs to be cleaned, huh?
Probably should be cleaned. You all probably reek, to be honest.
Well,
except for maybe Kethis, but the rest of you probably reek of, like, Gnoll's blood.
Weird that all those girls were staring at me.
Hey, man.
Smells
Violence can be an aphrodisiac, you know?
Oh boy.
Oh no.
Red flag.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't know
Hey,
that
look,
I want to date
look.
those kinds of girls.
I never said it was wholesome. No kink shaming here. Exactly, Percy.
My bad.
It is your bad.
Yeah, I take full responsibility.
It's a safe space. Perverts of any kind, welcome. Well, no, you know what? Nope, rescinding that.
Yeah.
Nope, there's a
Take
lot
that
of
back.
ways that can
Take
be
that back
taken
Yeah.
right
now.
now. Taking that statement back
I would
real
like to
fucking
retcon
quick.
that on
And
your
you
behalf.
know exactly what type of pervert I mean if you're one of them. You're not welcome. You're not welcome.
Okay. Pointing at the axe as I assume Eagle is like sifting through things. Were you with us the other day?
He turns and like he pulls this. You have the only version of Eagle that you've seen presented is scholarly old man, slow moving, gets around fine, but doesn't really seem to be agile or dexterous.
Yeah.
That's erased as he real quick tilts the chair onto one wheel and spins fully around with one quick movement of his arms. In the same movement, a dagger flies out and embeds itself an inch to the left of your face and says, I may have practiced some of my skills.
You were right. We are the same kind of entertainer.
We very much are, my friend.
Seems there's quite a few things I could learn from you.
Listen, if anyone would know this, it was one from your tribe. Age does not mean weariness. And he pulls this, like... all the books in here are wrapped in something. Like, there's a leather or a vellum or some sort of wooden casing, even. This isn't a book. It's a pile of papers that has been neatly bundled into what you're sure is a wolfskin. And he hands it to you. And as he hands it to you and you put your hand on it, he puts his hand over yours and says, I believe this is the last of the original writings of Soot. I give this to you.
I just wanted to look at it. You don't have to.
It is not mine to keep.
Thank
It belongs to your people, and I may have stolen it.
you. Eagle.
And he, like, kind of like...
Thanks.
It seems we all have a lot to learn from you.
When you've lived as long as I have, you make some friends, and you piss off a few cults.
Is the story of my village in here?
I believe so. If I'm honest, I can't read all of it.
Oh. Why not?
I don't recognize the language.
I'll start to flip through and see if...
No idea.
Yeah.
Some
okay.
of it's written in what looks like an old version of Common, so while you can't
Okay.
just read it, you can slowly piece your way through it. There's a little bit of Sylvan tossed in there, which
Sure.
tracks. There's something that you've seen written a few times, you're pretty sure is Dwarvish.
Okay.
Fairly sure. There's something in there that looks almost like slash marks made with charcoal that you've never seen before and don't have any interaction with. And then there's another one in there that defies description. It's this flowy, effervescent script that seems to almost disappear as you read it and then reappear in new shapes once your eyes have passed over it. But you can make no heads or tails of that. It bears no familiarity.
Okay.
He points to a couple of the passages and he's like, I've identified Sylvan, Orcish, Dwarvish. I don't know what this one is. And he points to the changing, flowing text.
Bran has ideas. Ilvo would not know.
As you're speaking, he quickly turns to Alistair and he says, and for you! And he pulls another book out, and this is a very neat journal. And he hands it to you. Interestingly, it is written in Common. For some reason, the second you read the name, you forget it. You can't... You just can't ken. You can't fathom whatever the name is that's written across it. As soon as you do, it's gone. Just floats away. The words inside make perfect sense. It is clearly a journal, and it looks to be the journal of a brilliant tactician. This seems to be the regalings and the recollections of some sort of general or military leader while on a campaign. It gives like really in-depth battle strategies, command tactics. It describes his chain of command and how he assigned responsibility to each unit. It's a very, very complex narrative of battlefield command and battlefield tactic. I think this would serve you quite well, my friend. You seem to have a mind for it.
I just say, I thank you. This will be most useful, and I guess I'll call it our rebellion.
Best not to say that out loud.
Just in good company.
In good company, perhaps. He, for the record, your Book of Soot weighs a pound, since it's mostly a collection of papers. The War Journal, which is what we'll call it for right now, also weighs a pound, as it's a small blue leather wrapped journal.
Cool. Then I'll also ask, out of all these collections of books, would there be anything on the monasteries of Nordheim, if they exist here?
He rubs his hands together, claps, and the wall behind him spirals out into this almost endless hallway, entirely lined with books. And he gives himself a quick push and roll and just careens down this hallway as he starts to spiral and move downwards and downwards. Quickly gets to a bookshelf, grabs it, claps his hands, he's right in front of you, and he hands you a book. And he says, "This may serve you well. There was a warrior sect that used to live here. Similarly, when you go to read the title of this, you cannot read it. You just do not ken the words. They don't make any sense. The words inside it make perfect sense, but any time they allude to the name of the monastery or the order, it doesn't make any sense. Can't read it. But again, this is like a detailed recollection of daily life in this warrior sect, who, interestingly enough, never lived to fight a major battle. They simply used warfare and the martial disciplines as a means to focus themselves and better attune to the world around them. But it's a very good synopsis, and it's a very good delve into the mindset of using battle to generate focus and calm. I would say, reading this, you get the sense that it has something to teach you. Though it may take you time to find the lesson.
Okay. I'll also ask Eagle, so when I try to remember who wrote these accounts, I can't, or...
We don't call him the One for nothing.
Alistair gets verbally, or not verbally, visually, thank you, upset and uncomfortable at this.
You said you saw him. Did you see the tattoos?
They covered his face.
Those are the names that you seek. Carved into his flesh. He owns them now. They do not exist outside of his person. Their tales are done. He has quieted their song, desecrated their story. They do not exist. He owns them. Legend and story alike.
He has no answer to this. He's just trying to comprehend that a man can even do such deeds.
I don't think that either of us is able to pay you for these things.
I didn't ask for payment.
Any way. Yes, but it would be wrong to.
You have
leave
already
you with
saved
nothing.
the village of my birth.
Well, perhaps at least for my pride, in exchange, if you don't know it already, perhaps I could tell you the story of mine.
That would be acceptable. I rather enjoy learning new stories.
Well, I'm sure you know plenty, but there was a man. Some say was cursed with lycanthropy, but some say wasn't a man at all. And the man's wife followed him into the woods to care for him, even with his condition, and she became pregnant and had 2 twins. Well, 1 twins, named Ilva and Lycidas. And they were not cursed. And from that small family, an entire village came to be. That part's a little gross. And sorry. And
No one said the Bible made sense, guys.
it's true. And each generation, the first 2 children are named Ilva and Lycidas, because each generation of our people is a miracle like the first. I mentioned that some don't believe that the man was a man. Some of us believe that it was soot. And that she took the form of a man to create us. And therefore, each Ilva and each Lycidas is blessed by her to do some great thing. And so far they have, but I guess it depends on your definition of great. Anyway, that's sort of the short version.
It was a good short version. I have one to offer you.
Okay.
The first Lycidas found himself enamored with conflict, with violence, with war. And he carved himself a bloody swath across the lance, and was not satisfied. And when he found he was not satisfied, he needed a new way to carve his name. So he carved it in the minds of the people, in their hearts and their souls. But that was not enough, and he kept reaching for more and more.
Until he tried to eat the sun.
As the story goes.
That part isn't told. At least not where I'm from. I guess they've been leaving out details all this time, too.
Some legends are only known by those who were there to witness it, and perhaps their descendants.
Sure. The stories are important to us. I hope that they're continued to be told. I'll have to remind them of that bit, though, next time I go home. Seems important.
It may be good for them to know a little more about their history. I brought you all here for a reason. So far, you've not disappointed. But I am an old man, and I've spoken for quite a while, and frankly, I would like a nap. And to return to the drink I spilled by the fire. You do sure enough see that there's like a small ceramic jug that is clearly spilled over. Perhaps we could talk again soon, within the next few days. I'm sure we'll have more stories to tell by then.
Hopefully.
Well, thank you again.
He bows slightly.
I'll bow back.
I'll bow as I start to back out the door.
You have to like bow a little more.
Yeah.
You gotta like fold yourself in half
Yeah.
a little bit just to fit through the doorway.
Just full halfway lift yoga, yeah.
Alright, so you guys head out of Eagles. You guys headed where?
I will suggest to Ilva to go find Yo.
Yeah.
Okay.
We
Yot
might
did
want
mention,
to grab the others. I think Yacht has a job for us.
Yot did also mention that she would be at the tower.
Okay.
Maybe we can just go and wait there for the others, I
Yes.
assume.
So while you guys head off, Cub. As you walk up to the forge, you do see a familiar figure hammering on what appears to be the starts of a spear. He gives it a few pounds, holds it up, gazes at it, seems somewhat dissatisfied, plunges it back in oil, pulls it out, gives it a couple of tinks, lighter this time, looks at it, shakes his head, throws it back into the fire, looks up and sees you, and just kind of nods at you as you approach, pulls it out of the fire, begins hammering, continuing the cycle.
I'd like to look around the smithy or
Yeah,
Yeah.
smithy is a good
smithy.
good term.
Kind of look at the quality of the weapons, what he's got in stock, or what
Nothing in this area screams excess
Mhm.
or finery to you.
Mm-hmm.
But gazing through the arrows, you see that he actually has arrowheads that have a small steel pin in them that drives through the shaft and further reinforces it. And you realize this would make for very strong, forward-weighted arrows that would fly a little faster and sink a little deeper. The spearheads are all reinforced doubly. You know that they could probably pierce the thickest of hide and not break.
Mm-hmm.
The blades all are honed to a razor's edge. None of these things are showy, but all of them are very finely crafted.
Mm-hmm. And then, based on the one that he's hammering away on right now, not of the same quality.
He seems to be dissatisfied with it.
Mm-hmm.
Keeps kind of plunging, taking a look, seeing an edge he doesn't like, and throwing it back into the fire for another straightening with the hammer.
Mm-hmm. These are some fine weapons you have here.
He looks to you, kind of raises his eyebrow. Not fine enough.
Is that why you used a giant tree in the battle last night?
No, that was haste. Eagerness.
Ah, I see. Well, thank you for your assistance. It definitely raised the morale of...
In the middle of you trying to talk to him, he cuts you off and goes, Yeah, they kind of caught me in the middle of a piss. Didn't want to go into a fight with my dick in my hand, so I grabbed the tree instead.
That's understandable. I wouldn't want to be caught in the same position.
It did
either.
the job.
It did?
Yeah.
It did. Yes.
Goes back to hammering.
Okay. I'm not one for many words, but
You're using a lot of them. Goes back to hammering.
Then I'll make this quick. We were
That'd be nice.
told by the Jarl to look into the disappearance of your daughter.
Hammer goes down, stands up quickly, knocks his stool aside. Have you seen her?
I have not, but I believe I can find her.
Please. Anything. Anything here. Yours. Please. He's at this point holding the front of your shirt and right in your face. Please.
He's going to kind of tap his arms.
He quickly lets go and kind of steps back a little bit.
I need details. Where did she first go missing?
She was playing in the woods. Ice and some of the other boys. They came back to town without her. Said she was right behind them the whole time. Ice is no liar. She just vanished.
Did he say exactly where from the woods they came, or where in the woods they were?
It's tough to tell with children. They said they found a stone of some sort. Round. Where it shouldn't have been. Played around it a bit and left. Made their way. The boy was just as confused as I am.
Did she play in the woods often?
Every day. They used to be safe. Then she disappeared, and then those beasts came. They used to be safe. I played there as a child. After her mother went, she's all I've got. I need her back. I can't lose her.
Can you tell me where you've searched for her?
Everywhere. I went for days in the woods. Woke up back home, someone had found me and dragged me back. I think maybe the Jarl. Good man. He's been looking with me. But even he's given up. They think she's dead, but she can't be dead. It won't.
You've seen no tracks, no uneven ground, no broken branches.
I'm no hunter. I did the best I could. I couldn't even find the stone that the children found. They couldn't tell me. They couldn't show me the way. Found it on accident. Never seen it before. Said it was old and covered in moss. Red moss. I just want my Dara back.
Being from the woods, would Cub know anything about red moss, or is that highly unusual?
You suspect it's probably localized. You've seen many mosses. You've never seen one that you would describe as red. You've seen like browns and blues and shades of green, plenty, but never one you describe as red.
Mm-hmm. Okay. If she is in the woods, I can find her.
He puts a meaty hand on your shoulder, and he gets on his knees so he can actually look into your eyes. If you do this for me, I will craft you a thing with which you can wreak untold havoc, death and destruction. They will fear you. Please. My daughter is all I have. She's the only thing that matters. Without her, I have nothing. I am nothing. I cannot fail as a father as I failed as a smith.
Hand on his shoulder. The guardian, Mora, is with us. She will help me find her, I promise you.
He doesn't seem to get the reference, but he does seem vaguely comforted by the words, and his face kind of hardens, and he loses a little bit of the panicked edge that he had. He nods a couple of times. My wife was like you. Called her my little Yarrow.
Spell that?
Yarrow. Y-A-R-R-O-W.
Like the plant?
Like the plant.
Oh.
Gracious. Kind. Inspired me when I was nothing. She died giving birth. All I had left was Dara. Find my daughter. He gets further on his knees and almost prostrates himself. This large man kind of bowing to you. I'll give you whatever I can. Please, my daughter.
Cub will, down on one knee, hand on his head. I will do everything I can to find her and bring her back to you. I'm sorry for what you've lost, and I hope that it's not too late.
He quickly launches to his feet and goes, "Wait, wait!" And he turns and he hastily grabs a set of arrows off the wall, and he hands them to you, and it's 20 arrows. He says, "These are the finest I've made. Use them if you need to, please."
Couple kind of inspect one, look down at tip, poke.
Finely made arrows.
These are some of the best that I've seen. Better than what I can make. I am sure they will be useful. Thank you.
You have 20 plus 1 arrows.
Hey.
Yes.
Guy wants his daughter.
Love Ranger.
Stand
We do love a ranger.
Stand
we
Ranger.
love rangers in this house, alright?
Yes.
Fuck all you haters. You're wrong. You're wrong.
Isabel just nudged me to
Yep,
agree.
Isabel agrees.
Yep.
It's just like people who say human fighters are boring. You're wrong.
You're wrong.
You're just
Oh,
wrong.
jeez. Isabel.
If you think a character's boring, it's probably because you are.
Oh, some shade
Damn.
thrown. Some shade thrown. He stands up
It's a
and he kind of like rights his apron and he looks at you and he quickly like wipes off a smudge of soot that's like on your shoulder. Kind of straightens himself. I have work to do.
As do
If you've
I.
heard anything, please. Please.
You will be the first I tell. You
Kind
have
of. He turns and starts to walk back to the forge, glances at you again, and then walks back to the forge and gets back to work. And a few times as you start to walk away, you turn back and you see that he's watching you. And then we'll quickly return to hammering.
With my business done, I'll return to the tavern.
Kevis. At this point, you are sat on the familiar and comfortable cushions, enjoying a nice wine. And the Jarl has returned and proceeds to slowly kind of work his way into one of the cushions himself as he kind of unfolds a little bit and like spreads his legs and gets a little comfortable. What can I do for you?
I guess I'm just a little confused.
Fair.
I don't think I've met a human that cares for elves in my life.
He glances over to Saya and he puts a hand on hers. You've lived a sad life. I'm not a fan of hatred based in ignorance. Do people... Well, I suppose I'll let Saya take this conversation. And he removes his hand and kind of taps her thigh. Saya just nods to him and says, "We've had a bit of a hard time, haven't we?"
I'll take my hood down, push my hair back,
You see immediate dismay cover her face.
and you just see these like carved elf ears that have been just burnt and cut back. It was either this or die.
She kind of like takes a moment and she looks to Ice and she says, "Sweetie, why don't you go play?" And she kind of shoos him off to her room. And once he's gone, she watches and she looks to her husband and he nods and she kind of undoes the top of her blouse and pulls it down a little bit, and you see everything under the visible neckline is deeply covered in burn scars. And she looks at you and says, "I was found when I was young. They did things to me. Treated me like livestock, as they do all our people. And then they tied me to a stake and lit a pyre under my feet. That's when I learned that I have abilities. The pain stopped, the fire went out, and they all died. I fled, naked and scarred. Luckily, I came across Taryn here out on a hunt. The kind man wrapped me in his cloak, took me home, and offered me shelter and sanctuary. I've been lucky. I've had a good life. I've known a good man and good people. Raised a good son. I nearly lost him, but I did not. It looks like you've had a worse draw of the cards than I did.
You could say that.
I'm proud to see that you've survived. Not many of us have living with the humans. Perhaps that's a good reason for you to help us. You see, it's because of the one that we live like this. He feared our gods, our natural magical abilities. We posed a threat, so he sought to remove that threat. He made us the villains. Evil witches and wizards out in the woods, casting spells on innocent children, corrupting their parents and driving them to violence and madness. And it worked. And they hunted us with pitchfork and fire. They burned us, tortured us, skinned us, treated us like animals. So, what was left of us retreated. Are you from a conclave?
I was.
What of your parents?
I never knew them.
Do you remember your family name?
Nope. I have given myself one.
What have you given yourself?
I chose Liver.
She kind of smiles. And I suspect you've had to do a lot of that to keep yourself going. Looking at your fake scars and your clipped ears.
I've gotten good at it.
Perhaps that is a blessing in and of itself. It's given you a valuable skill set, to be sure. What I'm about to tell you, I will only tell you because you are one of us, and because you've agreed to help. There's a conclave to the north, in the tundra. They have a lore keeper, a storyteller. He claims to know the past of all the conclaves. Perhaps he can give you back your name.
Have you seen things that aren't really there?
Every day, echoes of the cataclysm, of the fire.
Looking over at the Jarl, Terran, or in the vision, was the man an elf? Or was it a human?
It was an elf.
It was an elf?
Look like ice.
Look like this. Gotcha. Do you not hold contempt and hatred?
He takes a deep breath, leans back. I have never hated a man for the color of his skin, the situation of his birth. I hate men for what they choose to do. I hate men for the pain they inflict on others, for the suffering they cause across the land. I hate men for the tyranny that they exact on those with less power than them. So no, I've never felt contempt, nor did my father, or his father. Holbrook has always been a safe haven, for any who should need it. I aim to keep it that way. Saga be damned. She quickly, pats him, goes to shush him, and he says, No. No, I've allowed fear of the name in my halls for far too long. He's a tyrant. An overblown ego, given too much power. A wielder of hate. We do not allow his kin in these halls. You're welcome here. You'll always have safe passage here, if I have to die to provide it.
I don't know what to say. But thank you.
You need not thank someone for doing the basic minimum of kindness. It's all the others who should be ashamed. Empathy is not something deserving of reward. It's simply owed.
To Saya, I'll say, did it feel good using your abilities on those people? Getting away, staying alive?
I cannot deny that it did. But it puts me at great risk to do so. Puts those I love at great risk. My son, my husband, these people that are now my family. You saw his men to the north of the village. Monsters in that strange black plate of theirs, with their scribblings and scrawlings. That poor woman's head. There is no kindness there, no forgiveness, no empathy or understanding.
Has anyone tried to go in?
Eagle tried once. He had to kill them all. Saga himself showed up the next day. Put a stop to that really quick. We learned to leave them alone. I'm grateful to you for coming to help. With the life you've led, it's got to be going against every instinct you have. Bless you.
Bless you times
Bless
two.
you.
Thank you. I blame Isabel.
But we need you. All of you. Eagle has told us about you for many months now.
I knew we were more than what they made us seem. I still believed in that.
It's amazing what a powerful tool fear can be. Even good people will behave monstrously for fear of their own skin and the skin of those around them.
I'm gonna try and get in there.
I will not lie to you. And Taryn quickly goes to put a hand on her and she kind of swats it away as if to kind of maybe stop this train of thought. Many have tried. If you ever make your way west, you'll see their heads soon enough. Call it the Field of Screams. It echoes in the wind. Thousands of heads, mounted on pikes, stakes, swords, spears. Dead land as far as the eyes can see. That's his holy land. That's what type of god he wants to be.
I'll spend the next probably 15 minutes pretty much in silence. And then I'm going to say thank you and get up, and I'm going to walk towards the port.
Okay.
Just end up at the sea.
Sure. Ashurka, what are you up to while your friends are all heading off in various directions? Most seem to be heading to the tavern.
What time is it at this point?
The sun is almost completely down.
Okay.
Best guess, probably 7.
I'm going to head to the field where the gnolls were and just kind of watch for a bit and make sure that I don't see anything that looks weird.
Roll a d20.
That's a 5.
5. A filthy white cloth on a stick pokes up out of the woods as a single gnoll steps up, waving this white flag.
How far away is he?
100 yards. Steadily walking towards you. No weapon visible. Just flag held out, waving it, hand up as he walks towards you.
I'm gonna stand and wait.
He stops about 10 yards away from you. He sets the flag down, both hands, slowly goes to his side, pulls out daggers between fingers, drops them. And then he does some mockery of a bow. Flows with his hands and does this, but as his head goes low, he tilts his head up and gives you this huge grin that seems to stretch up almost to his ears.
Do I see anything around him? Anything behind him?
Give me a perception check.
Yep. Nat 20 for a 24.
You don't see any immediate threat. There's definitely a sign a little further off into the woods that there are a few presences, but it doesn't seem like it's a group of more than 3 or 4 of them. And you don't see any indication that there's a weapon at the ready. It more seems like they're just there to see what happens.
Okay.
So, for quite a vast distance, it's just you and him.
Okay. I will take out my sword and lay it on the ground next to me.
Okay. He takes like 1 or 2 steps back when you first draw the blade, sees it, and then kind of chuckles. And he stands up to his full height, which puts him eye to eye with you. He goes, "Green One, my name is Yargor. It is a pleasure to meet such a majestic warrior."
Don't like that.
Shrika's got a boyfriend.
You have killed...
He's got a lot of boyfriends now, apparently.
A child and a knoll. Doing great.
Oh my god.
Yargol gestures to you and says, "You have killed many of my kind. I would like to congratulate you on surviving. You're the first." That big grin spreads. As he does this grin, big, thick glob of drool drips from his lips onto the ground, tinged with a little bit of blood. He kind of wipes his mouth, shrugs his armor into a more comfortable position. He starts pacing, hands behind back, standing fully erect, almost at the attention position. "I am Yargor, King of the Knolls. I come here to offer you a trade. You come for coin yet? Everyone comes for coin. I come only for meat, sustenance. I make you an offer." He moves his hands, and out of the woods come the 3 figures you saw, each of them dragging a large wooden chest behind them. They quickly kick the chest open, piled high with gold, silver, copper, gems. As soon as they open, they overflow a little bit, spilling the wealth onto the ground. "You may have all of this. Just leave. All I ask. is you leave. Easy. Easy money. You live, we eat. It is good. You are strong, warrior. Why sully your blade working for weaklings? There is one to the west. He has killed many. Work for him instead. We do. He pays well. Find him. Leave this place. Make money. We eat. You get paid. What more to know? What say you, strong warrior?
The weak are the ones who need my blade. Take your gold, Null.
I am sorry to hear you say that. But I cannot lie. It will be a pleasure to rip that pretty skull from your spine and piss in it when I'm done. And he turns and just starts walking away, leaves his blades, starts walking away casually from you, back to you and everything. His men quickly gather up the gold and start dragging it off into the woods. He turns over his head, or over his shoulder. I will kill you slowly, and make each of your friends watch as I peel the skin from your body. It will be a fun time for me. And he starts stepping away.
I can't wait to kill that fucking guy.
Now this is the fight.
I'm going
I know,
to
but like,
I don't know. He kind of threatened all of us.
Yeah.
I'm going to pick up and sheathe my sword and just say, I will kill you quickly because no creature deserves to suffer.
Raucous laughter. He finds it hilarious. He actually stops for a moment, holding his chest, laughing into himself. Holds a hand up as he walks away, just steady laughing.
I will just wait and watch and not turn my back to leave until I can't see them anymore.
With that nat 20 perception roll, they do linger for a good moment, seemingly watching to see what you'll do. And with your inaction, eventually, they wander off into the woods.
I want to take his daggers before I go.
Okay.
Or, I think you said daggers, they might just be blades.
It's two daggers, yeah.
Okay.
They're fairly long, kind of more like a dirk than a dagger, just shy of a sword. Pretty cool looking implements. Of note, you saw some of the other Knoll's equipment, and it was all pretty hodgepodge and just like rusted iron and blunted, dulled steel. These appear to be a pretty fine make, and look to have been made to look cruel after the fact. Underneath some trappings that are like tied sinew and bone, and little bits of hodgepodge filth and grime, are the makings of what were probably very fine blades.
Okay. I think from there I will head to the tavern.
Okay. Alright. With us all coalescing at the tavern, we'll go ahead and take a short break. I know I really need to use the bathroom. We've been streaming about an hour and a half, so we'll take a quick little break. We'll refresh our drinks.
I just want to say,
Yeah.
when I get to the tavern, I would like to go to my room and read the warfare book by the warriors.
The journal?
Yeah,
or
the
the
Not the war
monastery
journal,
book?
the monastery book.
Oh, the monastery book?
Yeah.
Okay, sure. Just roll a d20 for me. Add your proficiency.
11.
11? Okay. It's tough to decipher because you keep encountering that issue where words and sentences and names and locations just don't make sense. So it's slow reading, a lot slower than you're used to. You kind of expected to, frankly, finish the book in this amount of time, but you only get a couple of pages in. Okay. You have to keep rereading to make it sink. But what does sink in is some interesting everyday practices. You kind of get this idea for a new morning routine that apparently, as they describe it, will set your mind in a state of discipline and order. So you have an idea that reading through this book will give you new ways to meditate and focus, and perhaps even grant you various advantages in combat.
Okay.
We love a morning routine.
Oh yeah.
Is Yacht there when we...
Yeah,
Okay.
Yacht's there waiting for you guys.
When we get there, I'll just grab a drink.
Okay.
With Yacht.
Well, like I said, we'll go ahead and take a brief break there. Everyone will be back probably in about 15. Thank you for everyone who's stuck out so far. See you soon. Whoops. I keep turning off the wrong one, but that's okay.
Oh, I'm not sending into Bards and Brews. I don't know why I'm sending a message.
We are live. Let me send this real quick. Definitely just burped while the mic was active. No big deal. I'm a human.
Mm-hmm.
I
natural
perform
bodily function.
human bodily functions
Exactly.
whilst drinking copious alcohol.
Mm-hmm.
I saw Kellen's butt in the background there. Look at that. Hey, for anyone who can't see it, it's right there.
It's a good butt.
It's right. It's a pretty good butt. It's right there.
Isabel's jealous now.
Isabel.
Hi. If you don't hate me yet, you will soon, Kellen.
Soon. Why soon?
I just assume the butt jokes are going to get worse.
Oh, okay.
All right, guys. So we're back. Let's go ahead and enter into the tavern. At which point, I'd say everyone but Alistair is sitting at the bar or at a table, perhaps.
I wouldn't be there.
Oh, yes, that's right. And Kethis, because Kethis is at the docks, the port. That is correct. So we will pick up there. Yut has already gestured you over to a table close to the bar with a round of drinks waiting for each of you. There are 2 drinks that will not have a drinker, as she already bought a drink for both Alistair and for Kethis. But she gestures that you sit with her.
Is it the honey wine stuff
It does seem
again?
to be the honey wine.
Great.
Please feel free to talk to her, because I need to remember which job is hers.
Of course.
Well, I think
Listen.
Ilva...
I'm with you, dude.
Listen.
I totally understand.
I think Ilva and Alistar got there first. You went up to your room, so Ilva
Yeah.
is just chatting about, barbarian things, being strong and cool. I don't know what those things are off the top of my head, but they're just chatting. No, actually, Ilva is asking for workout tips.
From Yut?
Yeah.
I'd say at this point, Yut's kind of like, yeah, it's all in the triceps. You gotta really work it. Like, I like to drag yokes behind me sometimes to get yoked, and it really helps.
Yoked you up.
Look, Yut needs to get yoked by yoking yokes, okay?
Do you
Say that 3
also
times fast.
drink egg yolks?
Sometimes. Sometimes, yeah.
I've heard that works.
So like Gaston.
They're not delicious, but I mean, man,
Yeah.
just the protein,
Yeah,
the
you
carbohydrates.
just gotta throw them back. Yeah, I'm
ready to
carbo
go.
loading
Got
right now.
So much energy. It's great. It's great. I'm actually on a cleanse.
Oh.
Yeah. I'm playing. I was gonna make an Archer joke, but I think only one person at this table would get it, so never mind. Yeah. He's gonna do the kelp thing.
Yeah.
The 30 yards of kelp going. Anyway. I don't have the notes with Yut's job, so we're gonna make a new one.
Great.
Alright.
That always goes out well, right?
Yeah, I remember roughly what it was about, so it's fine. Yut kind of looks around and is like, you're missing a couple, aren't you? Where's the shifty guy? Kind of feel a little nervous about him walking around my town at night, if I'm being honest.
Oh, he does that. He
What?
doesn't tend to hurt people.
I'm more worried about sticky fingers, maybe.
Well,
Yeah.
If he had sticky fingers, then wouldn't things just be sticking to him constantly?
You're real cute, man. You'll get there one day.
Did we lose Kethis again?
So you guys lose track of the sticky-fingered, small, kind of sketchy man frequently?
Oh, he is so
You let the
small.
sticky-fingered, small, sketchy man wander around your town and you don't know where he is?
I got you there.
She looks at you and she Moving on.
Just like that meme.
He always
Listen here,
comes
you little
back.
Yeah, exactly.
And he doesn't usually seem to have much more than he left with.
I'll pretend to be comforted by that. Thank you. Moving on. Seems some of the kids might have stumbled across something that could use some looking into. It's a cave, the outskirts of the town, out by the woods. Kids stumbled into it, got a little hurt, maybe a little scared. Claimed they saw something big with red eyes guarding a treasure chest. I haven't had a chance to look into it, and frankly, with everything going on, I don't feel comfortable sending too many of my guardsmen away. And you know how kids are. We tend to embellish things a little bit with fear and small size, but on the off chance that they're correct, there is some beast out there guarding a hoard of treasure. Well, I think we all know what that brings to mind. So, I'd like to play it safe. Worst case scenario, there's probably a goblin or something out there, but it would make me sleep a little better at night if it was handled.
Okay. All they saw was something large with red eyes?
Something big with red eyes, guarding a hoard of treasure. I'm just... If I don't do anything, it'll be a dragon.
Has
you know
that
how it
happened
goes.
Before? Yeah,
You know how it
sure.
goes, like, if you don't prepare for rain, it rains.
Yeah.
Well, if I don't listen to kids tell me there's a dragon, it'll be a dragon.
Yeah, like if you don't touch the crabs, they live, but you'll never know that they die when you touch them if you don't.
Not quite the same thing, but I think you get what I'm selling to you. I'm honestly figuring it's probably a bear. That said, this close to town, the bear does pose a bit of a problem.
If it's a bear, leave it to me.
Well, if it is a bear, I figure buy you another round of drinks, 10 silver apiece, give you a little bit of coin to fit your pockets. If it's nothing at all and just a bunch of kids telling tales, I'll still buy you a round just for putting my mind at ease. Sound good?
That 10 silver might help the shifty one's fingers be less sticky.
Yeah. If you guys could keep him from robbing my town blind, that'd be
I
great.
don't think he wants to do that.
I'd really like to not have to crush his skull.
I'd really like you not to crush his skull.
Yeah.
Same.
Yeah, me too. He seems nice enough, but, you know, shifty.
I want to say
deer,
something.
That fucking deer. Oh
I
my
wanna
god.
I'm thinking Mr. Burns. Eggs.
I was thinking the Adventure Time deer that pulls its hooves off and has the fucking fingers.
Oh god, yeah.
The worst thing I've ever seen in a cartoon. It fucking gets me.
I really want to say something.
Hmm?
Ilva will wink at Yacht and say, the only skull you should be crushing is mine.
And, let's see how drunk Yacht is. Yacht's really drunk.
Oh no!
So Yacht looks
Wait,
at you.
in that case I take
Nope.
it back.
Yacht looks at you and just leans back in her chair, pats her thighs a little bit, and says, I've crushed a melon or two between these babies. And flexes a little bit, and you can actually see she's wearing like these like steel-fronted, leather-backed greaves, and you can actually see and hear the leather strain a bit as her thighs like tense up.
We'll leave it there for tonight.
She looks at you and goes, tease. Keeps drinking. At that, you hear Hilda yell over the bar, perhaps you've had enough, Yacht. And Yacht just, like, waves her away and puts her beer down and slides it a little away from her. Look, I don't anticipate that this would be anything major, but there's been a lot going on. We really don't need another loss here, and again, even if it is just a bear, I mean, that's still a large predator right on the outskirts of my town. Ease my mind. I'll put a little coin in your pocket and drinks in your belly.
Where was the cave again?
It's off to the west, a little north of the forest where you guys held off that army, and she looks at you and winks.
With your help.
Ah, well, I do what I can, and she kind of tenses again, and you hear the leather strain and the metal, like, creak. Yeah, fuck horny bards. It's horny barbs.
Yeah.
Baby.
Yeah. Barbarian.
Look, listen, guys. It's not primal savagery. It's primally sexy. All right. More of those puns to come.
Oh no.
Anyway, have a good night, everyone.
I'm not
Listen.
See you
signing up for
next
this.
time.
Listen, I made an entire adventure around a pun about mushroom-infested were-beings.
Mhm.
I called them lycanthropes. I was proud of it. No one else was. It's fine. It's fine. I'm an unappreciated comic genius. It's fine.
I came in the middle of that
The
whole.
real
You did.
quest.
That's right. You came
So-
right in the middle of all that.
the real reason Alex started Bards and Brews is for other people to get his puns.
Yeah.
Because we weren't.
Yeah, they're nowhere near smart enough. So you, Twitch audience, I leave it to you
Yeah.
to understand and appreciate my gold tier puns.
Nothing's ever gone wrong by leaving it to the Twitch chat.
Never, never in the history of anything has that ever been a problem.
Once we get a few more, maybe a few more months, we'll have Twitch chat just generate random quests for us.
Jesus
Oh,
Christ.
God.
I don't know that I want to sign on for that. That sounds problematic. But anyway, at this, Yuck kind of downs her beer real quick, looks to you all and says, "Go find your friend, please." Steps up. "Thanks again for your help. I think perhaps I need to go to bed." She goes, walks off, and as she walks off, Ilva, she turns her head behind her, or like over her shoulder, and you swear you see her butt tighten up under the armor a little bit. You swear she's doing like the high heel walk as she walks away.
She's walking on her
And
tiptoes.
Yeah,
she
you're pretty
definitely-
sure.
Definitely has like a dump truck ass.
Right, I mean,
Yeah.
come on, of course. Of
Dummy
course.
thick.
Yacht is dummy thick. She's trying to sneak into the Knoll camp, but the... Never mind.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway. It's funny because Isabel immediately came and sat her head in my lap, and that was when I was like, never mind, we're done with this.
She's like, please, Dad.
Dad.
You're embarrassing me.
I guess we should go find Kethis then. Yeah? Do any of you know where he might be? I need his help, so it would be good to find him.
Can I smell him on the wind?
Well, you're inside.
If I go outside.
Roll an intelligence check. Yes, I appear to be indoors. Guys, I think we're in a tavern.
Rolls out one. That's how you got it.
Yep.
I tell you what. Step outside.
Mm-hmm.
Roll a d20 with disadvantage and add your proficiency modifier.
Understood.
For shits and giggles.
Yeah, why not?
You never know, you could roll an nat 20.
Good.
And then, by God, you recognize that stench
Two
anywhere.
So,
As if you
About
did
that.
roll
Did you
a
just
nat
roll
20.
2 nat 20s?
No,
No.
Oh, I was
it's a
like, holy
But as
shit!
if the one time
Yeah.
he rolls a nat 20,
It's at
it's
disadvantage.
with disadvantage.
What was the second roll?
11 plus 2, so 13.
13?
That's not bad.
Yeah.
That's not bad. You know,
What do I know?
you take a deep breath. And you just... He's this way. And you start walking off towards the docks.
It runs after.
I can't believe that worked.
Alistair, you would have heard a little bit of commotion from downstairs, and you heard Cub say, "Let me see if I can smell him." So, up to you what you'd like to do here. You want to go outside with them? Do you want to stay in your room? That's you, Russ.
Oh, I'm sorry. I
saw you
in
zoning.
La La Land.
I saw you zoning.
I guess I'm going to join them down in the tavern because I'm done reading, right? I did
Yeah.
my roll for it, so...
Yeah, like I said, you'll come down just in time to watch Cub storming outside, swearing that he can smell Kepis.
I don't say anything. I'm just following the crowd, thinking about what I just read and how to implement everything.
Alright, so yeah, after a little bit of walking, so you'd come to Kepis doing what?
you would find me up to my neck in the water.
Impressive that you can smell someone who's underwater.
Indeed.
I wish I had checked in with him before I said that.
most of my gear is off on the shore.
Oh, you smell his gear. There you go.
Okay, fair enough.
But yeah, I'm basically you just see my head in the water, and I'm just staring out into away from the land.
Just ranger things.
Just
I think he's taking a bath.
Appears to be.
Oh, we could all use a bath, maybe.
You could
Maybe we
probably
could all
all
take
use a
a-
bath, to be honest.
Ilva starts stripping and
And then Alistair will follow suit, just like this is a.
You hear somewhere off in the distance, you hear Yut's voice. Hot damn!
oh yeah, I mean Ilva looks good. Ilva is ripped.
Cub smells his armpit. I smell fine.
Hub,
Of course
get in
you
the
think
water.
that.
Ashurka's telling you to get in the water. Are you all taking a bath?
Yeah.
Alright. Kethis, this is unfortunately not your first time seeing your entire party naked and in the water with you, completely uninvited. But, sure enough, here you are.
Yeah.
There's just sailors walking by, too. They're just like, okay. And they just start walking a little faster.
When people start getting in, I'm just gonna dunk my head. I'm gonna hold it as long as I can.
What's your constitution?
It is 14.
14?
What's the depth?
The depth? Where Kethis is standing? Probably like 5.5 feet.
Okay, so the only thing that's visible if Cub goes that far is his blood.
Well, I mean, I assume you're treading water, so...
Yeah.
Yeah, probably like 5.5 feet.
How clear does the water appear to be?
It's not. It's a dark green.
Okay.
It's seawater.
Ilva's gonna go underwater and get as close as she can to Kethis and just start waving in his face.
You're just gonna see me with my eyes closed.
And I will stay there as long as you're underwater.
What's your constitution?
16.
16.
Oh boy.
She's gonna win that one. You can hold your breath for, I don't remember the exact ruling, but I'm just gonna wing it here in this instance, since you're not like, it's not like a life or death
Yeah.
thing. You're not trying to test your limits. We'll say you got a solid minute. You can like hold your breath comfortably before it begins to cross over into like, do I really want to fight for survival for the next 4 minutes? So like holding my breath type of thing.
I'm gonna push it there.
You're gonna push it? Okay. Yeah, I'd say you can get about 5 minutes. You can get probably like 8. Be like a good amount of time there.
I'm just chilling.
Pretty sure, chat. I know I'm wrong on that. Guarantee you someone is in there getting ready to call me on that. I know I'm wrong on that. I don't
thought it was
remember
just your Constitution modifier.
Well, it's like halved or something. There's like a rule to
Yeah,
it.
it's like
Okay.
something plus half
Yeah, it's
your
like
con
plus
or-
something
yeah.
plus half.
Okay.
I just don't feel like doing it right now or looking it up. So
Fair enough.
5 minutes sounds believable for someone with a pretty decent con,
Yeah.
and 8 minutes sounds believable for someone with like near god tier con.
Yeah.
So
Um,
we'll go with that. I'll change it when it comes down to life or death.
I will wait until I'm pretty sure after Kethis has come up that he's like wiped water away from his eyes and has his eyes open and then like pop up.
Yeah, I'll pop up and. What do you want?
Your help.
With?
Well, we've got to check out this cave. I think there's some other things we got to do, but remember when I mentioned the thing that I wanted to do to protect the cows?
Yes.
It was trying to be like mysterious.
I'm sorry, I'm choking on something. It's fine. Keep going.
You know how you have that language
Yes.
that tells you secrets? I want you to help me do this like you would do if you were trying to tell people secrets with your little language, like be discreet.
You want me to use?
Oh no, I want you to tell me where to put the sigil. And then maybe carve it for me because I don't know that I'm very good at that.
Okay.
Cool.
I'm just gonna dive as far as I can go.
Wait, there's other stuff we have to do too.
Are you swimming out?
Nope, just down.
Just down? Yeah.
Mhm.
At this point, maybe you guys have drifted out a little, so 6 feet is probably the maximum depth. Interestingly, you've been in the ocean a few times. I'd say probably all of you have been in the ocean a few times.
I was dumped
Usually-
on the way here.
Yeah, usually you get sand, seaweed, things like that. Kethis, your feet find moss. Definitely moss. You have dark vision?
Yep.
Roll a perception check.
13.
13? Pretty sure it's red.
Okay. I'm gonna just grab it and just hold myself down on the
It
bottom.
is thickly latched onto the bottom of the seafloor. Like it's almost like grabbing on a shag carpet. It's just thickly embedded into this rocky black sand. Feels really soft, like moss. Pretty sure you feel little things crawling around your fingers, but pretty typical of moss.
Stay down there another 5 minutes and
Sure.
come back up.
Are you guys still standing there? Or are you done with your bath?
Cub is taking as little time as possible in there, so he's getting out.
Fair enough. Cub was a little scarred. What are you guys doing?
Let's
Shirka,
see.
Alistair.
Say Alistair's taking the longest time because he's focusing on cleaning. Then he turns into like a meditation routine, feeling
Like
the
going
waves.
through the ritual of
Yeah.
it type thing. Yeah, makes sense. Okay.
I think after watching Ilva and Kethis just kind of stay underwater for a couple minutes, then come back, then Kethis go back underwater. Ashurka's not sure if they're trying to drown or we're drowning and now Kethis is drowning again. So I'm gonna try to like walk around until I like can feel where Kethis is with my legs.
Yeah.
Like basically, yeah. And then once I bump into him, I think I might reach down and try and pull him up.
Alright, I can't avoid this. I need you to roll 2d20s for me. One of them's going to be a strength check, just to see if you can yank at this, because he is holding on to the bottom. Like, he's trying to stay submerged. The other's for something else.
Great.
Oh my
Out
God.
the way. Great. Strength check is a 6.
6. Kethis, what's your strength score?
I think it's 10.
10?
Yep.
Yeah, what's your strength score again, Ashurka?
18.
Yeah, doesn't even matter. 6 is enough. She's yanking you up. And she's just a lot stronger than you. So there's just no contest there. So she's yanking you up, and you have fistfuls of this moss. You've been traveling with Ashurka in particular for a little while. You guys met first. You're put into a bit of an awkward spot as your naked friend yanks you up face first into her chest. And you're just like, alright, well, yep, nope.
I'm gonna take some of the moss and just like slap it on her chest. And
Yeah.
I got you this.
I found this for you.
Thank you. I saved you from drowning.
I didn't really need saving, but I appreciate it.
You were pulled under the water twice for several minutes. I'm pretty sure you were drowning.
I'm gonna start sinking into the water. Oh no, Ashurka. Oh no. And
I'm gonna grab him.
She like lifts you up like a child, just like almost fully out of the water. Kind of Simba moment.
And in my other hand, I'm gonna slap more moss on her chest and be like, "I got you this."
Thank you. I
What do you
appreciate it, I suppose. I'm going to carry you out of the water now. I don't want you to drown again.
I would really rather you not.
And I would rather you not drown.
I won't drown. Promise.
How can you be sure? It's happened 3 times now.
And I haven't drowned once.
Because I saved you.
I made it up the other 2 times as well. Watch.
I'm gonna try to carry him out of the water.
Now I will need a legitimate contested strength roll. Unless you're just gonna let her drag you out of the water.
No.
Yeah, so both of you roll a d20 and add your strength modifier.
23.
Oof. High roll.
Only 20 points higher than my roll.
Yeah, I mean, Kethis, you're being dragged out of the water at this point. That time might be over.
as they're walking towards the
can't really
shoreline,
fight it.
they see
Yeah.
Cub like get on all fours and just kind of like shake himself off like a bear.
Jesus Christ.
Ilva's gonna start splashing around as if she was drowning.
This is, before we get to Ilva drowning, this is all of your first time seeing Cub take a bath. The amount of body hair he possesses is overwhelming. It's not what you expected to see. So
Is
when
it
he
like-
shakes like a bear, there's basically a bear on the beach just shaking and spraying water all over the place. And I
Is
mean
it
bear
just
in two
thick?
definitions. It's just
Or is it like matted?
it's thick and coarse, and it's just, like, all over his body. It's not matted, like... It looks like Cub does the minimum to take care of himself, but it doesn't look like it was a focus. There's definitely a smell coming off of him. It smells like... Like, the top notes are, like, moss and oak, and it's kind of nice, and then you get that funk. That, like, sweaty man funk. And it's just like, maybe I'll hop in the water for a couple more minutes.
No.
But then, Ashurka, as you're dragging Kethis out, you hear panicked flailing and splashing as Ilva starts to sink into the water and back into the waves.
I'm going to... How shallow is the water where I am now?
Where you are right now, like a foot.
Okay,
With waves,
I'm going
like,
to,
gently lapping.
like, set Kethis down and keep my hands on his shoulders and say, stay here. Don't drown again. And go back out in the water to try to get Ilva.
As she turns her back, I'm gonna go face down in the water.
And as she gets to me and tries to start pulling me out, I'm gonna start to try to pull her down with me.
Contested strength roll.
Meanwhile, I'm just here trying to concentrate on my rituals.
Alistair, Cub, as you're shaking off, we'll get to your rolls, 1 second. As you're shaking off, Cub, you look up and Alistair is just very calmly just washing himself off with a rag. And every time one of them makes a noise, you just watch his face, like, twitch just a little bit. And just, like, clenching his jaw and just gently washing, and he's just staring straight ahead. And at one point, you even kind of, like, wave at him. He's just, like, breathing real deep, eyes wide, like, trying so hard to be like, shut the fuck up.
I'm
But
going
this is
to.
everyone's bath time.
It's
They
like,
have their own rituals.
I will be calm. I will be serene. What did you guys roll?
I rolled a 13.
13?
8!
Oh, shit! Ashurka, you're going down, man. You start sinking, and you don't know what's going on. You're just like, oh no! And you start getting pulled into the water.
And
Ilva! Ilva, is something pulling you?
yes! Quick! We have to find a way out. And then Ilva will start to, like, swim towards the shallower water, but try to play it off as if, like, she's fighting against something and saving Ashurka.
Ashurka, you're being saved from some dire abomination from beneath the waves.
I'm gonna start, like, thrashing and, like, kicking my legs, like, trying to get off of me, whatever it is that's, like, trying to pull us under.
And all of a sudden, Ilva will, like, stop pretending anything and just be like, we made it.
You're saved.
Ilva, I tried to save you, but you saved me. Thank you.
We're a good team.
I don't know what that was, but it was strong.
We're a good team.
As soon as you guys are done talking, you turn and Kethis is dead. Face down in the water. Just floating. The waves gently brush him up into the shore. Butt gleaming in the now moonlight.
Shit, I think we both actually think he's dead.
Neither of you saw this. Like, he's just face down in the water now.
Cub! You need to make a poultice!
What
I'm
happened?
just gonna start running over to Kethis. It's his body.
Yeah, butt just gleaming in the pale moonlight. What are you doing? He's just floating there.
Kethis, I told you not to drown again! And I'm gonna try to, just, like, flip him over.
You get flipped over.
I'm dead. I'm acting dead.
Kethis is dead, man.
Hold on. I have medicine for this. He's gonna run back and get those bushels of flowers.
just like acting dead, if I can like open my eyes slightly just to see Ashirka. As soon as she looks away, I'm gonna whisper, Ashirka, you could have saved me. You could have saved me, Ashirka.
Oh man, Ashirka's currently dealing with the trauma of having just missed saving a child, so this is good. This is rough.
Oh no.
Ashirka, you hear a ghostly whisper on the breeze. You could have saved me.
I'm going to drag him up onto, I guess, the beach. Would it be reasonable for me to know how to do CPR?
I would say Ashirka knows that if you pound on someone's chest with enough force, they just come back to life.
That's what I'm doing.
BAM! Kethis, immediately all the breath is taken from your lungs. You shoot up and it's like, as this like incredibly beefy half-orc just pounds both fists into your chest.
At that, I think Alistair is done with his bath.
Yeah.
No matter where he is.
Cub, as you're like walking away from Alistair, a wet washcloth just hits you in the back of the head and you just, fine, and just walks away.
Wait, but didn't Ashirka need to make a second D20 roll against something?
It already happened. It's
Okay,
fine.
okay.
I forgot it. It's fine.
I'm so curious.
Yeah, just after getting my chest bashed in, we'll look at Ashirka and say, you need to take it a little easier. We're just joking.
Yeah, there was nothing in the water.
I'm going to look like from one of you to the next. And just kind of gather my things under my arm, and I'm gonna walk away.
Cub rushes back with the flowers. Okay, I can fix it. Oh,
Ilva's gonna start nudging Kethis and be like, I might be pretty good at this lying thing after all.
It's addicting, isn't it?
It's kind of fun.
You guys see Alistair just kind of storm off by you. Just the most, like, knotted you've ever seen him. Just tense shoulder muscles. Just an irritated stride as he just walks away.
I do some forms with my short sword to relieve stress.
He's just nakedly walking through the beach, just doing quick stabs.
I'm sorry we bothered you. I think we do that a lot.
It's okay.
Were you looking for something?
Not really.
Were you looking at something?
No, it's quite hard to see down there.
Oh, I meant when we first got here, before you were underwater.
Oh. No.
Okay.
Insight check?
Are you still there?
I imagine, well,
I'd say you probably.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah,
I don't think
sure.
Ilva's being, like, too quiet. Like,
Are you doing
not
versus?
shouting,
Are you
but-
doing an insight check on Ilva, or are you doing an insight check on Kethis?
Kethis.
What?
That is going to be... Ooh, 22.
That's probably higher. What's your? Do you have a good deception score? Do you want to roll against it?
Sure.
Yeah, go ahead.
deception or persuasion, we don't know.
I'd say deception in this instance. Trying to hide motive.
That's 22.
22? You rolled a 23?
Yeah.
What are you trying to glean?
Just if he was actually out there actually looking at something, or just trying to set his mind at ease.
What were you doing?
He seems troubled. Not really sure what he was doing.
I will leave that alone for the moment, but I just give a look, a friendly look to Ket. This is kind of like, I'm here for you kind of look.
Alistair kind of glances back at you, and even as frustrated as he looks, you get a half-hearted smile.
Were you able to wash that sticky stuff off your fingers?
Just kind of hold my hands up. Still there, unfortunately.
God. So
I'm gonna go try and
Can't write
get
this
it off
shit.
some more. I'm gonna walk back into the water.
Yeah.
You do that. Yot was saying that you had sticky fingers and she didn't like that. I thought you should know.
Thank you.
Also, just some snitching on people. Jesus Christ.
Jeez.
I mean, social graces do not matter to Cub, clearly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'll swim out like till it's like deep, 10
Yeah.
feet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Till it's deep.
Like 10 feet deep, nothing.
What's everyone else doing?
After all that, I don't think that Ilva has truly tried to clean herself, so she'll get back in, but to like more shallow water,
Take an
kind
actual
of.
bath.
Yeah, let Kethis go, but we'll start, scrubbing her armpits and stuff.
And it's nighttime, right?
It is. At this point, the moon is up.
Okay. I can't hear
Is
no
it a-
children's about.
Full moon? What is the moon phase?
It is not a full moon at the moment. It's probably 2 days off.
Ooh, good to know.
Waxing Guinness.
A waxing give us.
I know some moon words.
I can't hear any children playing at night. No
Nah,
ruffians.
it seems to be getting a little late. It seems like kids are probably inside.
Okay, cool.
Not really too many people wandering the streets either, just a couple people rushing home.
Then I think I will announce to the group that I'm just gonna take a stroll around town, and just listen into the surroundings because I don't think I've explored Holbrook for myself.
Yeah. Okay. Shirka, you stormed off. What are you up to?
How late is it?
Late enough that
Approximately.
you're starting to feel tired. You don't really have a good feel for the time, just walking about, but it's getting pretty late.
Okay. I think I will go and get Strawberry and just kind of ride her around the town. Not like doing anything specific, not going like super fast, just kind of going around with her.
Okay. Cub, what are you up to?
Cub wants to... Is there enough light where he can go around and kind of gather his... what's the word I'm looking for? He wants to inspect the surrounding scenery. Not necessarily the town, but like the area around it. And just kind of get more familiarized with it, familiar with the type of different plants.
Like with the terrain itself,
Terrain itself,
not just the
yes.
town
Exactly.
layout.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do, give me a nature check. And Kethis and Ilva are both bathing and or reclining in the sea for a little while.
I'm gonna continue diving.
Yeah.
And sitting underwater for as
Roll a
long as I
d20
can.
for shits and giggles.
12.
12? Okay. What'd you roll, Cub?
Dirty 20.
Dirty 20?
Hey.
I'd say that you're starting to pick up on a couple of things. One is that white flower, that clustered flower that you've been looking for most profoundly, or most prominently, I said profound. You're pretty sure that it likes to grow in rockier soil. Because as the ground shifts from that rocky beach to grasslands, there's less and less of the flower.
Gotcha.
So you're pretty sure that it likes the rockier, grittier soil. Another thing that you realize is that there are a lot of varieties of mushrooms growing around the bases of many of these huts. You're not familiar with any of them off the cusp, but many varieties. You're seeing at least 3 or 4 different types of mushroom that you can identify.
Okay. Do I know any that are like good for food purposes?
Tough. None that you can really identify off the cusp. It's
Okay.
pretty dark at this point.
Fair
And
enough.
you're kind of just doing a cursory glance.
Okay.
Another thing that you notice is that as the as the sand kind of grates into rock, which kind of grates into soil and loam, you get this interesting transition in the land where it very quickly peaks into an earthy dune. So not quite a sand dune, but like it's where the land starts to shift into this wall of clay and soil and loam and moss. You suspect, glancing around it, you could almost see the makings of a walled road that seemed to run roughly through where the edge of the town.
A walled road. What does that mean exactly?
So it's like a road with a short walled path.
Oh, okay.
You can see the makings of it. You've seen something like this before, and you see the signs in soil where it looks like it's been cultivated and brought up, and it looks almost like stone has been set in at one point. But it's, again, it's not obvious, as it's kind of hidden under all the loam and all the dirt, but you can see signs of it. And you see where the dirt first crests into this dune, it immediately depresses again into an almost unnaturally flat depression. And that leads you to think that there was some sort of road that ran through here. Yeah. It runs out north and then seems to cut west, skirting the edge of the forest.
Okay. Got it. Thank you kindly.
Ashirka, just roll a d20 for me while you ride around town.
3.
3. Uneventful. You pass a couple of guards that are now roaming the streets. Only one of them has a torch. The others seem to be relying on their night vision and on the bright moon up above. Pretty lightly armed. Spear here and there, short sword. One has a crossbow. But they seem to be keeping an eye on things. Alistair, you said you were walking around the town, right? Trying to get a feel for the layout a little bit?
Yeah, and I would be looking out for any keywords such as gnolls.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'd just be looking out for anyone talking about the gnolls, anyone that might be upset about it.
Sure.
Still disturbed.
Not too many people out and about at this point. Like Ashirka, you run into a couple of the guards, and one of them does signal to you and is like, keeping an eye out as he's walking around. You start to get a bit of a feel for the way the town works. You kind of get a feeling that the center street is mostly shops or slightly wealthier homesteads, like merchant homesteads. And then they kind of branch out in economic decline from there. And you get some of the slightly poorer houses start to be on the outer edge, a little looser, a little formed into kind of smaller shacks. The northern edge of town is definitely the most affluent. It's where the longhouse is, and there's only like 3 or 4 other buildings up that far north, and all of them are larger and are located on larger properties, larger swaths of land that are kind of cut to them. One of them, to the far northwest, as you're walking through, is actually all the way out in the fields and has numerous of these straw mounds that are kind of worked over small clay huts. And you see, or rather hear, a faint buzzing coming from each of these small huts. And there's probably about a dozen of them out there, all surrounded by wildflowers. There's a series of very large barrels stacked outside of this large building, and it's almost the same size as the longhouse. Little smaller and shaped into an L. The outbuilding that comprises the bottom of the L looks almost like a work building. It's mostly wood. There's not a lot of stonework, and there's a wagon parked directly out front that is also loaded with a very large barrel.
I think Alice would be curious enough to see what the noise is or what's producing it.
Walking up, you eventually come to a fence that goes all the way around this very large property. Easy enough for you to hop over. Just kind of hop over. Walking among the wildflowers, immediately, you can tell by the smell, by the buzz, bees. Lots and lots and lots of bees being kept in these large man-made hives.
And I don't see anyone around?
Not at the moment. It's pretty late.
Alright. I think that would satisfy Alistair's curiosity, especially him thinking like, I just bathed. I don't want to get stung. And
As you turn to leave, hop the fence, you start walking back. The hair in the back of your neck stands up, and you turn. And off about 20 yards away from you, clearly facing you, is one of those figures in the black armor, covered in the scrolls and the scraps of paper. On his head, or their head I should say, is what is clearly a human skull that has been forced into a crenellation on a helmet. In his hand, a large mace. It seems to be made out of stone.
I continue on my way.
Doesn't make any effort to pursue you.
But I do make a note, and I will turn around, look at him to make sure he knows, like, I saw him.
Yeah.
But not continuing forward or towards him, just going on my stroll.
Doesn't seem to acknowledge you as you turn to face him. But you can tell he's watching you as you walk off.
Then I'll continue to like kind of check over my shoulder throughout my stroll to see if he follows or if anyone else of note.
After a while, as you start to descend the hill, because you have, as you go on northwest, gone up that kind of embankment that Cub saw, as you start to descend down the hill, you turn and look over your shoulder. It's gone.
He just thinks strange and continues to walk off.
Okay.
Will have to be something. He would just make a mental note, like I have to ask Eagle, Yote, or Tyrant about that.
Okay. What's everyone else up to? Cub, Ilva.
Whenever,
Or sorry, Kethis, Ilva. Don't wanna say
whenever
Cub.
Ilva finishes bathing, she'll just go wait on the beach for Kethis.
Yep, it's like 30 minutes of up, down for Kethis every time, staying under. And then I'll swim back to shore.
You see Ilva kind of walk off and start donning her gear again and getting dressed and drying off. Kethis soon joins you and does the same.
I was thinking maybe we could try to do that tonight while it's dark. That seems like something you do, right? That's how you're supposed to do it?
You're catching on.
You're a
Yes.
good teacher.
I appreciate it. Where are you thinking?
Well, I was going to go with the fences near where they keep the cows, assuming there are some.
You haven't seen where the cow herd is kept yet.
Yeah.
I did mean to mention and kind of got distracted in my own description that Alistair, as you were walking towards the beehives, off a little further to the west, there was a field that was just filled with large, furry, woolly cattle.
To that I'll go, moo.
Oh my god.
Mm-hmm.
You've been, I would say, the Jarl gave you a rough idea in his description of where they are, so you know that off to the northwest there is a field in which the cattle are kept.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm ready whenever you are.
Ready?
Okay.
Okay.
We'll head there.
As you guys start going off, walking through the town, you bump into Alistair on his way back to the tavern, and you cross paths at almost the same time with Ashirka on Strawberry.
When I cross them, I will give them a warning of the person in black armor, human skull, scrolls down his armor.
Okay.
And a stone mace.
Do you think I'm dressed for this? Am I in dark enough clothing? I'm wearing like light gray furs.
Who are you worried about?
Well, if someone's watching.
And what mark would you want to leave?
The sigil of my god. Sorry, the sigil of my god, but I'm whispering.
it may be best that you leave me a symbol
For you to do.
or an illustration.
Is it in that book?
You'd have to flip through it.
Okay. Like a cursory glance I would notice it on a page, or I would need to have like read through something.
You probably need to read through it.
Okay.
It's not written particularly well.
In that case, have you noticed the tattoo on my back when we bathed?
Yeah.
It's that.
How many?
You shouldn't need many. But I would try to do maybe at least 3, like in sort of a triangulated kind of fashion. Even on trees instead of fences would work. Just make sure that when you do it, you don't go all the way around the tree because it'll kill it. But you can carve into the tree a little bit. Just not. Fun fact, that's real.
Okay. I'll just make sure I have the symbol correct, and then I'll head out to the fields.
Okay.
Just ask for Soot's blessing. For me, like on my behalf.
Does it work like that?
I just feel like she would like to know that you're not just some random person asking for her blessing, having never done anything for her before. I do things for her all the time.
Okay. I don't understand it, but...
She just likes offerings, and since you're not giving her one, I don't want her to not do anything.
I see. I understand that.
Yeah.
I'll say Yilva asked for this.
Thanks.
At this point, Ashirka, as you're listening to your friends talk, Cub walks up to your stirrup. So Cub, you've joined in on this. What are you two doing?
Do you know anything about their business with the cows?
Cows?
Yes, the beefy livestock. They make a sound. It's like "Maa," something like that.
Oh, no, I don't know anything about that.
They're being very secretive. Normally I would trust my companions, but they were lying to me earlier, so now I don't know.
Oh, shit.
I will just let you know that Ilva offered to do this.
Ashirka is not whispering, by the way. Like, no spatial awareness. It's just talking. You guys can hear this.
Cub is kind of the same.
Ashirka, remember when we saw the Jarl? Jesus.
The
Uranus.
Uranus.
I said that maybe I could help with the wolves attacking the cows. This is us trying to help. But this time we're not tricking anyone.
I'm going to nod and just steer Strawberry in the direction of the stable and start riding off. And then over my shoulder, I will just say, be careful if you encounter any water.
Oh.
Because she's not going to rescue you.
Oh, shit.
Cub, you're left standing there as your friend just walks off with throwing the shade.
Is she alright?
Well, I'm sure she'll be fine.
Are-
We'll apologize later.
Okay. I don't know what you need to apologize for, but okay.
Well, that's a good point.
He literally has no idea what happened, so.
Yeah.
Get this if you started going off towards the sea.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm heading out to the...
Get this, it doesn't take you very long. Eventually you can track the smell. It smells like cows. What you come to is a free range. Doesn't appear to be any fencing. There's a herd of woolly, shaggy, long-furred cattle. Many of them have very long, clean white horns. They seem to be very well groomed and cared for. Around them are a couple of clusters of like small clusters of trees and brush, things of that nature. Places where you could pretty easily put the sigil. We'll say you put a sigil at one cluster here.
Yeah.
Are you okay?
They're fine.
One cluster to the north, and then you'll do another cluster so you get that nice triangle in the actual forest. As you're carving the sigil as Ilva instructed, we'll wait a moment before we reveal what comes next. We'll wait for Ilva to join us.
Oh boy.
In the meantime, Alistair, were you headed back to the tavern, you had said?
Yeah, I'll head back to the tavern, and then if I have any spare time, instead of opening up I'm gonna call it the Warrior's Notebook. I'm gonna open up the General's Journal.
Okay. This is a pretty tough read. You're no slouch. You're pretty clever, but this is clearly written by someone of a higher intelligence. It's written in a shorthand. It was very clearly intended to be read by this individual and not a published novel to instruct others. Mm-hmm. This was him taking notes, or her taking notes for their own use. Strategies that worked for them, command chains that worked for them, things of that nature. So there's a lot of shorthand, there's a lot of terms that don't make much sense to you, like almost like names or designations, ranks maybe, that just don't make sense to you. So reading through it is almost like solving a puzzle. And again, you find yourself going through page by page, just slowly analyzing, slowly picking apart what each page is trying to get across. Mm-hmm. Doing so, you're fairly confident that completely reading this book would give you the option in learning the ways of warfare and of battle maneuvers.
So, I guess, once I discover that, notion, I will focus on, reading it until I fall asleep.
Make a little bit of progress. Kethis, we're going to know what you're up to. Cub, what are you up to?
Cub, after seeing everybody kind of disperse, he's going to make his way back to the tavern at this point.
Okay. Enjoying a drink or just kind of getting ready for bed?
Yeah, he'll have some food and a drink.
Sure. Easy enough. Hilda is more than happy to provide for you.
He is attempting to use the
fork?
utensils better this time.
Okay. Roll a d20.
All right.
Let's see if Alistair's lesson stuck.
How does an 8 sound?
An 8 sounds like this fork thing really doesn't work too good, and honestly, the prongs are kind of hurting your palm as you try to work this really narrow end into stabbing food. It's not working too good, and I'm pretty sure your fingers would have worked better.
I don't get this at all.
Doesn't make a lot of sense to you. Just seems like an inconvenience, honestly. Mm-hmm. Shirka, what are you up to?
I think I will have put Strawberry in the stable and then probably gone to... We're sleeping in the tavern, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, probably have gone to the tavern and... probably gone to my room.
Fair enough. Okay. Kethis, as you go to scrawl the last sigil, you look up, directly into the face of a beautiful, pale woman. Draped over her head is the skin of a wolf. Covers half of her face, but you can see underneath it a piercing blood-red eye. Fangs. She's nude, covered only in what appears to be some sort of paint. And she's just holding your gaze while you carve this sigil. Then she, real gently, reaches out a long, completely stained black hand and gently pokes you on the nose with a long fingernailed finger. You briefly close your eyes in response, and as they open again, she's gone. Save that for you.
Thank you.
But you carved the last sigil successfully.
I'm just gonna like shake my head a little bit and just this Yilva sent me, and then I'm gonna walk off.
As you walk off, you know you're being shadowed by something, and you feel that familiar sensation of being hunted almost. You turn your head just slightly. You know how to see if you're being followed without giving away that you're looking, and there is a pack of very large wolves skirting the outside of the forest, tracking your motions. They don't appear to be following you, but they're definitely keeping pace with your motions.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely still within range to where if they wanted to run, you probably couldn't outrun them.
Mm-hmm.
The one at the head is large, white, and has a red and black series of paint stripes going along its face and down its side.
Just pick up the pace.
Yep.
Get out of there.
You're not pursued. What are you up to, Ilva?
I feel like I didn't stray far. Like, I probably tried to, like, hang back where we were talking before.
Okay, that tracks.
To wait for Kethis. And would have communicated, like, I'll wait here. And just tried her best to look nonchalant.
You see, after a little bit of waiting around, and only waiting for probably 20 minutes, 30 minutes, you do see Kethis walking at an unusually brisk pace and unusually stiffly quickly come over that kind of promontory wall and just kind of slide down it a little bit and start walking towards you in the tavern.
Okay.
Just gonna like quickly point to the stables.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll start walking.
Okay.
And then just
Ashirka,
keep pace.
Strawberry lifts her head as you see Kethis and Ilva kind of poke into the stables real quick.
Oh, I went back to my room in the tavern.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought
Instead
you were
of the stable
Strawberry.
tonight.
Okay, then you guys, as you walk into the stables, Strawberry lifts her head.
Mm-hmm.
I'll go give Strawberry a little pat.
She kicks you in the chest. You die.
Oh no!
Good strawberry.
Strawberry's mad
Bam! Strawberry says, "Not my mama."
Were you able to carve the sigils? Were you-
I yes.
Okay.
Sorry. Does your god? Is it typically wolves that follow your god? Is
She kind
is it
of-
a wolf god?
Is a wolf. Sometimes. Why? Did you see wolves?
Many.
Did they seem like they were going to attack the cows?
No.
Then I think it worked.
You hear panicked mooing off of the distance.
Does your god present herself
Have I
in
ever,
human form?
Have I ever encountered?
Well, you know from your own legends that clearly she can take
Right.
the shape of a human.
Right.
You've definitely heard of her take the shape of a human male,
Mm-hmm.
and yet she is referred to most often as the wolf mother or the
Mhm.
goddess. Probably can.
Well, she has taken the form of a human before. What did you see?
A woman wearing wolf skin on her head. And she reached out, and her whole hand and up to her forearm was black.
Well, her name is Soot. I only know of her presenting as a man in human form, but I guess it's possible that she could appear any way.
You know what this means.
That you have to learn how to give her offerings?
I wasn't going there, but he's not the only one.
Who's not the only one? Saga.
Yes.
Oops, I didn't say that.
Yes.
Someone goes,
No, he said it.
"Did you call me?"
Oh my god. Well, I always knew that. Because I know that Soot is real. And obviously, if she's real, then he can't be the only one.
But she's here. Now.
Well, she's everywhere, always. Is she not? I mean, she's...
I have never seen her anywhere.
Well,
except here.
I think that's on purpose.
Spoken like an evangelical.
Path of the Zealot, baby!
I see that.
Well, I mean, I mean, surely she doesn't just exist in my village, because I felt her presence here, and I also have felt her presence there. So maybe she's not everywhere all the time, literally, but she has the ability to be where she's needed.
How do you get in touch with them?
I pray.
How do you... What do you say?
I usually thank her for what she's done for me and her protection. And I sometimes ask for something if I need it, if I need to. And if I have something to give her, then I give it to her. Like, with the Knolls, I dedicated that fight to her. At least my role in it. I'm not trying to dedicate all of your fighting to her. But mine is for her.
Okay.
She likes things like that. That's why we fight each other in the village.
I think that's what I'm missing. I don't know what she likes, so...
Oh.
But...
Well, she likes family and, battle and, things like that.
And those can be offerings.
Yeah. One of the things that we do every year, is offer her some sort of, livestock or something, usually the biggest, and she blesses us by nothing harms the rest of our livestock, so it's just ours for
Interesting.
things like that. She definitely likes to receive things as
Well.
much as give them.
Your marks worked. I told her it was from you, but I don't know that she heard me.
I'm sure she knows. If not, I'll let her know next time I pray.
Well, she's here and protecting.
Good.
Or at least it looked like it.
I guess we'll find out in the morning. And every morning thereafter.
We'll have to see.
Thank you for your help. I don't think I could have done it without you.
You're welcome.
Definitely would have been roles involved if you had gone along.
Not stealthy.
No. Kethis got by on his natural
Yeah.
ability, didn't need to roll.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of doing the thing.
I'm gonna stay here tonight.
Yeah,
So-
I'm gonna head inside. But
Okay.
stay safe. Keep an eye on Strawberry. I think Shirka would get really mad if something happened to her horse.
She's my buddy.
Yeah.
The Shirka knows that.
Shirker comes in the next morning to the scene from The Godfather, the horse head on Kethis' lap.
Oh no!
Just
Gonna murder the town. Hey Knowles, I'm going to accept your offer.
well, I mean, if it goes along like The Godfather, the horse head would quickly explode. So I mean, you all have backup characters ready, right? I mean, come on.
Yes. No.
They're all bards.
Oh hell yeah! Let's do a party of bards. That'd be fun
All
as shit.
bards.
It'd be wild. There's enough bard colleges to make that work.
And I'll head upstairs. I will start reading the story book for like maybe an hour. before I go to
Flipping
sleep.
through it, none of the stories make any sense.
Okay.
It's like garbled nonsense. You find yourself both understanding and not understanding a lot of it. At one point, just reading it, you get a little frustrated because you're a storyteller. This was something that was huge in your tribe, and it was so important to your daily rituals. That was weird.
That was weird.
Something
ghost.
definitely just knocked on our back door. That's weird.
It's probably a bug.
Yeah.
A big bug.
Yeah.
But I kind of lost my train of thought. Anyway,
So
I got it back. No, it's not your fault. It's whatever the hell just tapped on our back door.
Oh yeah.
At one point in frustration, you kind of just like let your head slump into the book, and your eyes close. And you drift off. You feel frustrated. You feel like you're missing something. Like something's very close and you can almost grab it. You open your eyes and you're sat on a stone in the woods. It's a familiar scene for you. These are the woods you grew up in. You're sat on the stone and long nailed fingers wrap around your shoulders. Gently. Caressing. Not squeezing. The fingers are stained black. You hear a voice in your ear, but you can't make out the words. And you turn to see a beautiful, pale face with blood-red eyes and long fangs, half hidden under a mantle of wolf fur. It's mouthing words, and you can't quite make them out. And then the face is looking directly into your eyes. These deep, blood-red pools spiraling on forever in front of you. A finger reaches out and taps you in the center of your head. And you feel energy. Your eyes open. And you feel a power course through your hands, into your chest, into your throat. You look to the book, and it briefly flashes with light, and the words make sense. It's a simple story. It's about a young wolf that bit off a little more than it could chew. Picked a fight with an elder bull and lost that fight and had to learn a lesson about picking its battles. Simple tale, but it makes sense now and it clicks. As you're trying to read, you kind of are getting frustrated. It's too dark in here, and you wave a hand just out of reflex and frustration, and the candle to your left ignites into flame and lights the book. So you can read a little bit clearer.
Oh, for a second I thought you meant lights the book on fire. I was like, sorry.
You've never done anything like that before. And as soon as you do, that energy leaves you. Not forever, but hidden and receded deep somewhere.
Questions for you later. Okay. I'm alone.
Yeah.
Okay.
In your room at this point.
Sorry, and the candle went back out, or it's still
It's still lit.
lit? I'm gonna kind of like wave my hand over it and try to feel if it like feels hot.
It burns.
Yeah.
It's fire hot.
I mean, I'm not like touching it, but like waving over
You
it.
just go, oh shit,
low
fire's
enough.
hot. That's
Yeah.
right.
Just kind of like trying to figure out if this flame is real.
Yeah. It generates heat.
Then I will pinch myself.
Ow.
Cool. So I'm awake. And I'll lower my head like a little bit, and just say, thank you for your help. I'm sorry that I couldn't be the one to carve the sigils. But I hope you'll appreciate it nonetheless.
Ashirka, you said you had gone to your room.
Yes, I want to write a note to Ilva and another one for Kefis and slip Ilva's under her door and probably crumple up Kefis's and just throw it at him in the stall where he's sleeping.
Okay. Kefis, I'd say it doesn't wake you up, but you will wake up with a note in your lap. Ilva, you're a little preoccupied, so you don't notice the note get slipped under your door, but again, will be the first thing you notice upon waking up.
Yeah.
Ashirka, when you walk into the stable, sitting next to Strawberry, you see a fine water skin, large water skin, and carved into the ground next to it, it just says, "For you."
I am going to pick it up and take it with me, but before I throw the note at you, I'm going to pull out a piece of, I guess, charcoal and add a line to it, and then crumple it up and throw it at you.
Okay. Shurka, eventually you make your way upstairs and find yourself fading off into sleep. As you do, your eyes open to you in battle. You're standing shoulder to shoulder with an impossible to make out figure. You can just see the gleam of armor and a shield, but you know this is a shield brother. This is someone who's there fighting next to you, fighting beside you. And to your left is a large, bare-chested, very lightly armored orc. Appears male, and he looks to you. He pats you on the shoulder and he says, "You will be their shield." You blink, your eyes open, and you're stopping a powerful blow from something massive. The words echo, "You are their shield." Flash forward again, another blink. Your weapon comes down, it comes back up, and you feel this energy about you. You feel a presence that you haven't felt before, just this awareness of all the things going on around you, and you feel this heightened sense of belonging, of knowing what you are. You turn and you see your friends protected behind you, fighting alongside you. You are a shield. The dream fades into a sense of calm, acceptance, peace. Cub, how's trying to learn how to eat going for you?
He gave up a while ago and just started using his hands again.
Start using hands. Hilda's just sitting there, just that walks off and lets you eat. Just kind of gives up.
Yeah.
As you're sitting there for a little while, you recognize an individual sitting at the bar now. It's that dark-skinned dwarf who was in the tavern in the first place, getting picked on by those two out-of-towners. He glances at you from across the bar and kind of looks around and...
Cub is going to...
You just, like, loudly, like, knock your chair over and come walking, and he just... Not too good at discretion, are you?
What's discretion?
We'll circle back around to that.
Fitting.
I've, seen you going about town a little bit. You look a little lost here, friend. I'm not gonna lie to you. Where are you from? You don't mind me asking. You know what? Doesn't matter. It's fine. The name is Joshua. Folks around here call me Josh Eight Fingers. Don't ask. It's a long story. It's fine. Now, I noticed you looking a little out of place here, and well, you came in here and you kind of saved me there, you and your friends, so, I wanted to say thanks for that. But, well, perhaps I could, show you around town and help you get a little more acquainted with the area.
Well, I was looking to familiarize myself with the land, so sure.
Of course you were, of course. He just rudely cuts you off. Of course, yeah. What'd you say your name was?
I'm Cub.
Cub. That your name's Cub? It doesn't matter. It's a good name. Why don't you come on back with me? I'll show you the side of town that a lot of people don't get to see. I got some friends here. We'll give you a proper tour.
That sounds great.
Yeah,
Let's go.
Come along with me, friend.
Yeah.
He shuffles out and leads you to the back of the restaurant and kind of out this side door.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as you step out, Cub, bag goes over your head. You suffer a quick blow to the temple. And you manage to surprise them and fight that one off, and you start fighting and start ripping, and then pop, another blow to the temple, and you just lose consciousness. As you start to fade, you hear a laugh, and you hear that same kind of slick voice just go, Listen. We don't need to get any blood on the finery, do we? Drag him along. Let's take him.
Can anyone hear this commotion?
You're all asleep. Cub's been downstairs eating for quite a while, trying to figure out this fork. He's been taking his sweet time.
I'm not still reading?
Fortunately, at this point, you're a little preoccupied with other things going on.
And I did say I'm going to read till I fall asleep.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Cub, you keep getting flashes of consciousness. At one point, you see what you're pretty sure is torchlight. At another point, you feel cold, wet ground. And then you're in warmth. And you're before a fire.
Mm-hmm.
Bag is still on your head, but you feel you're no longer in a vessel. But you are tied. Hands behind back, wrapped around what you're pretty sure is a chair. You hear that same voice. Listen, friend. Ain't a lot of dwarves in these parts, and you're not fooling anyone with the stupid yokel act. Thought you could get away from your cut, huh? Look, around these parts, I run a pretty tight ship, and while I may not recognize your face or your feigned stupidity, I recognize someone shirking work. So it's time you get back to work, thrall.
Fool. I'm Cub. I don't know a thrall.
You get a wet smack across the face. I didn't ask you to talk. I said it's time to get back to work. I'm gonna take this mask off, and if you say another word, I'm gonna take your tongue and I'm gonna stick it on my wall with a nail. Nod your head if you understand.
Cub. So, can't see his face yet because the hood is still on, but you kind of see Cub's head shaking like he's really angry, but he reluctantly, slowly nods.
The hood is pulled off, and you're surrounded by 3 darker-skinned dwarves. All of them are dressed a little on the shady side. Your friend, Joshua, is now in all black leathers, and he has these strange, like, metal accoutrements on the ends of his gauntlets. Looks like that's what he was hitting you with. They are, in fact, stained with a little bit of blood. Looks like he took a pretty meaty swing at you.
Okay.
The other dwarves are similarly dressed and all wearing similar knuckle-duster-looking accoutrements. None of them are armed. They all seem to just be using whatever these gloves are. Joshua looks at you and says, Thieves' Guild around these parts has been having some hard times. Lords know I can't afford one of my own wandering off. So, we're gonna put you back to work. Don't know which drug den you came from, but you're gonna go back there. You're gonna make me some product, and you're gonna make me my goddamned money. Nod your head if you understand.
He's still, like, shaking, but...
This one could use a few beatings. Gaul, drag him off. You see one of the bigger dwarves kind of grab you by the scruff of the neck, and he starts actively removing your armor. He's, like, clearly trying to strip you a little bit. He gets you down to where you're just at bare chest, no more armaments, takes your shoes off, takes your gloves off, pushes you forward, and you start going down a long passageway. You seem to have been in some sort of den. It was a weird combination of, like, well-furnished and filthy. Like, you're clearly in an underground space, but there's a fire pit, and it's roaring merrily. There's fine cushioned sofas, and then there's just random crates of bullshit lying about. So it's a weird combination, and even with your limited social awareness, it doesn't feel right. But you don't know what's going on as you're pushed down this long, dank, dark, poorly lit hallway that is steadily spiraling underground. And as you get under the ground, you walk out into this large chamber that is just filled with dozens of similarly clad dwarves wearing nothing but raggedy trousers and threadbare tops, working at strange tables that seem to have small bowls with some sort of substance in them that they're grinding up, removing, putting in vials. Repeat. Repeat.
And what was that about vials and all that? Sorry.
They're, like, filling the vials with whatever substance they're grinding up. You're quickly brought to a table. And, Gaul looks to you and says, Work!
And this is like a powdered substance?
Some sort of powdered substance, yeah.
Okay.
All dwarves, right?
All dwarves that you can see.
That
Interestingly,
is-
to you, Cub, every single one of these dwarves has some sort of marking on their neck. It's a little different from dwarf to dwarf. It is definitely in Dwarven, which is a language you're not as familiar with as you would have liked, at least not written. You're pretty sure it says, like... It's tough. It's like a loose translation. It either says good or property. You can't quite make out which. As Gaul tells you to work, he kind of looks at you and says, Where'd your brand go? That's a weird trick. And he grabs you by the hair, pulls your head down, and starts to, like, search at your neck and, like, just violently, like, shuffle around, like, moving your head and kind of trying to see if you have a marking on you. And then his eyes go wide. He's like, You don't... Shit. And he quickly, like, puts a bag back over your head and starts dragging you up. And you, like, your knees are, like, clumping on the stairs as he's just dragging you up the stairs by the scruff of your neck. And he throws you back into this warm room, and you hear him go, Boss, we got a problem here. And you hear that same voice, What could you possibly need to be interrupting me with now, Gaul? He says, Boss, this isn't, he's not one of ours. the voice just goes, "What? He's not one of... I heard what you said, idiot. How could he possibly... There's no other dwarf families around here. What do you mean he's not one of our..." He removes your hood and he goes, "Friend, it seems you've been party to one of my practical jokes." He kind of like pats you on the cheeks. He's like, "He's still conscious, right?" And he like looks at you and he's like, "Yeah, friend, look. All's well that ends well, right? So listen. I'm gonna give you a drink. You're gonna forget all of this ever happened. And next we see each other, we'll be all buddy-buddy. Got it?" He pats you on the cheek real aggressively. He's just like, "Easy misunderstanding." You feel a hand grab a fistful of your hair, pull your head back, yank your mouth open, and some substance is poured deep into your mouth. Mm-hmm. A couple of like foggy seconds pass by, and you feel mud cake onto your face as you slide across cold, wet ground.
Boy.
And you kind of come to your senses out in the mud and the sand out in front of Stash Cask Tavern.
What time of day is it now?
At this point, the sun is starting to come up.
So Ilva's heading out for her workout.
Yep. Ilva, you step out the door and literally almost step on a mud-caked, bruised, bloody cub.
A late night, huh?
I'll also get up and do the routine that I read about in the Warriors notebook.
It's a new type of push-up that you're not familiar with, and it involves a different formation of your hand. And then the exercise is to slowly remove a hand, and then remove fingers. And you're slowly putting more and more weight just onto multiple fingers. Mm-hmm. So it's a really tense workout. You're struggling with it a little bit, but you feel pretty confident you can do it.
Cool.
Does Cub come to as of yet?
You're having a hard time. You already have a difficult time processing that much information at once. You're just not the type of person who's used to engaging with this type of human.
Right.
Or
So
person, sorry.
He remembers...
You remember what happened a little bit, but it's really foggy, and it doesn't have frame of reference to you, so it just doesn't make any sense. You have no idea what you just went through. But on top of that, there's this strange fog over your brain. Mm-hmm. You're having a real hard time thinking complex thoughts right now. Like, really, the primary thought in your head right now is face hurt. And that just keeps coming up in your brain. It's like, face hurt. And Ilva, looking at him more closely, like, his face is battered. It's really swollen, and then you kind of like grab him and look at him, and his eyes are clouded over, and he just is not focusing on you at all.
Cub, are you okay?
Face hurt.
As you're kind of trying to process this information, you're losing it. Bits of the night just start disappearing. But through sheer will and through what almost feels like a guiding hand in the back of your mind, you remember Joshua's face. And oddly enough, you remember exactly how many steps you were taking before you found yourself in that den.
That's some ranger shit, dog.
Ranger shit.
Ranger shit.
As Cub seems a little incoherent, more so than usual.
Much more so.
Ilva will just throw him over her shoulder and start walking to Saya.
Okay.
Would I see this too?
I kind of assumed you were doing your morning routine in your room.
Because it's just push-ups.
But because you are awake, I would say you could definitely hear Ilva, like, addressing Cub, and you could kind of hear a tinge of panic, where it's like, "Are you okay?" type of thing going on. So you've probably heard enough to at least pique your interest.
Yeah, then I'll go and investigate at the very least. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. And you would see Ilva walking off with a very battered and half-naked Cub draped over her shoulder.
And then with that, I'll be like, okay, I need to go back up.
Also, specifically, he is draped over the bad shoulder, but it's been 24 hours.
That has been 24 hours.
And she will try to get in, like, a few walking lunges along the way.
Alice under his breath, show off.
Listen, this has interrupted my routine. I didn't even know you were here.
Cub, the name Joshua comes to your mind a couple more times, and the face, very clearly, but you've lost everything else. You just remember a negative context to this name and face.
Joshua.
Is that who did this to you? I don't know what you were taking.
Joshua. And then he kind of like passes out.
I'm booking it. Like, as much as
Yeah.
I'm getting some walking lunges in, I am like,
As you start lunging your
fast.
way gracefully towards
Yeah.
Saya, that's where we'll end it for tonight.
Cool.
Leave it at your good friend getting picked up and mugged for whatever reason.
Mistaken identity.
Seems
That's all
to be
it was.
mistaken identity.
Yeah. Yeah, it does.
yeah.
Sorry to do you dirty, cub.
That's a lot.
He was racially profiled.
Hey, it was definitely something not kosher, alright?
Yep.
Not all dwarves look alike. I mean, come on, man, what the hell? Like, yeah, Cub seems to have been dragged face first into some nasty business, unfortunately. But with that, folks, we will be, again, sorry for the miscommunication, but Starfinder will not be picking up next week. We will be starting that in October instead. Starfinder and hopefully Dragon Age within a week of one another. So we've got some big stuff coming up. Thank you to everyone who joined us for the night.
Thank
Hope
you.
all
Thank you
have a
so much,
wonderful
everybody.
evening.
Yeah.
Good night.
Bye, everyone.